Hi, I'm Kim Kelly from Team Canada. Watch us next on TSN.
Bright blue skies over Bismarck. It's day 2 at the 2002 World Curling Championships. Canada's Colleen Jones had a perfect opening day at the Worlds. In the morning, a win over Switzerland. Later, a nail-biter against Sweden. Canada is at the front of the class with 2 wins in a row on opening day. Norway's Nordby, a 2-time world champion, 1-1 heading into day 2 after an 8-6 loss to Switzerland late yesterday. This is a huge test for Norway on day 2. Good morning again, everyone. I'm John Wells along with Kathy Gauthier. Welcome to Wake Up at the Worlds, and today I think it's the most important match of the round robin when you look at Canada versus Norway, 2 veteran skips who have a wealth of experience on the world stage as well as at home.
They do indeed, and you talk about importance, and it is for 2 reasons. For Nordby, she's been here so many times that for her, it's the emotion that she really needs to get going at a world event. For Colleen, 2-0, last year 0-2. You talked about experience, John. Wow, they both bring that to the plate.
So when you look at these 2 skips head-to-head, a 2-time world champion in Nordby, 4 Olympic appearances, the silver in '92, 13 world championships. And then look at Colleen Jones and the number of appearances she's had back home at the Scott Tournament of Hearts.
Doherty is to the Worlds what Colleen is to Canada. When you look at the appearances, we talked a lot at the Scott Tournament of Hearts, 15 times, and she went into the record books this year as the only skip to win 4 times. Does Colleen have anything to prove? I don't know that she's anything to prove, but she loves to win, and that's a lot of fun.
Well, she is the defending champion. That's Colleen Jones of Canada. And the matchup this morning on day 2 here at the World Curling Championships, Canada versus Norway. It's Colleen Jones against Nordby.
The 2002 Ford World Curling Championships on TSN are brought to you by Karcher, quality cleaning equipment, by Nokia, proud sponsor of the Nokia Briar, and by Ford. Ford of Canada supports the love of the sport and the drive to achieve.
Good morning. Day 2 begins with Canada, Denmark, and Scotland atop the leaderboard here. In the women's standings, after 2 draws at the Worlds, Norway, Russia at 1-1, along with Sweden and Switzerland. And the winless teams so far, Germany, Korea, and the United States.
The United States, Patty Lank, a very good team.
We're inside the Civic Center in Bismarck, North Dakota, and ready for the 3rd draw of women's competition on day 2 at the Worlds. Here are the matchups this morning on Sheet A. It's Germany versus Russia. Our feature match, Colleen Jones of Canada against Nordby of Norway. On Sheet C, Lenny Bidstrup of Denmark against Jackie Lockhart of Scotland. Sheet D, Korea meets Switzerland. And over on Sheet E, it'll be Sweden against the winless Americans. Time now to read the ice, brought to you by Ford.
The ice conditions have changed a little bit. I think it's settling right about here. 2.5 feet around the center guards. The most movement, no question, is to the wings. There you're going to see 3.5, even 4 sometimes. Out in the wings, outside in, we haven't seen a lot of frost, but it is just very, very straight, maybe only a foot. The key for today are these lines right here. Colleen likes to hit, Doherty likes to draw. That means lots of motion here, and here it is as straight as can be.
Here are the teams going head-to-head this morning. Nancy Delahunt of Canada, Marianne Way throws second stones for Colleen Jones. Kim Kelly is the 3rd. And, of course, there's the skipper, Colleen. Throwing lead rocks for Norway, Camilla Holt. The 2nd is Marianne Haslam. 3rd is Hannah Woods. And, of course, the veteran skip, Nordby. The stones they'll be firing this morning, Canada with the red rocks, Norway with yellow.
Should be a really interesting game. These two individuals have so much experience that we talked about at the top of the show, but you couldn't pick two individuals who play more of a diverse game. Doherty loves to play the four-guard zone, loves a zillion rocks in play. Colleen would be more comfortable with only one. So we'll see who can force who to play whose game.
Who can force the style of game on their opponent is basically what we're looking at in this one. And an important game, as we talked about a little bit earlier, because Nordby lost her second game yesterday and comes into this at 1-1. Colleen Jones atop the leaderboard with a perfect record from day one. And we talk about Colleen and having, you know, represented Canada and having won since the early 1980s. Doherty certainly is in the exact same position going back to the early 80s and having represented her country. And so for Doherty, this is an annual pilgrimage to the Worlds. It's not about will she get back. To get out of her country, she plays in a 4-team round robin. Easy to get here. There's some consistency. We will see that times at this point in the game between the hog lines are about 13, 13.5. Will get up to 14, but not much quicker. Guards, 15.5. Of course, those numbers and those times, the teams need to watch. It looks like it might rain outside today, and that can dramatically change the ice conditions very quickly. Ice Times brought to you by Karcher. The interval times look like this.
Those are just additional times. The 23, the hog to tee, is the time that many people use. The back line, 27. And we're seeing 3, but I expect that that shorter back line to hog will move up as the ice conditions get a little bit quicker during the course of the game.
Definitely be heavier up here. You got lots of room, guys. Easy. Whoa, you got room. Yeah. Where's the weight? Above the tee. Above the tee. Okay, let's work it now. Yep. Hard.
Pair of guards in front of the house
3.
belong to Doherty. That rock on the top of the 4-foot. Great first shot by Nancy Delahunt, and Canada wanting to put pressure on Doherty right off the hop.
Lovely. She threw a 41 split there. Quite a bit more. Yeah.
Ja. Eller den andra.
4 rocks in play in the opening end.
Ja.
This is a great example of the style of game that Doherty likes to play. There are 2 Canadian stones in the 4-foot, the yellow guards out front. She could elect to play a run back or pass the 4th stone, so she could play that. Instead, what she wants is a promotion. Move those yellow stones in the house, open up the front, keep rocks in play. That's her style, and it has worked very, very well for her.
On the way to a couple of world championships, 4 Olympic appearances for this team from Oslo.
Ja.
You going right in?
Little question that
I agree.
Doherty
3-7,
Nordby is the
3-8,
most famous curler in all of her home country.
Yeah, exactly.
For women, no question about that, although in terms of men, Igor Ramsfeld, certainly no stranger to the international scene. Those 2 individuals have gained a lot of notoriety in their countries. But for women, Doherty has made a significant mark that I can't imagine being ever replaced.
13 world championship appearances. Part of that legend.
We're close. We're close. Okay. Okay.
Norway opened with a win over Germany 6-4 yesterday, and then a loss 8-6 to Switzerland. Canada opened with a win over the Swiss 7-4, and then a nail biter, a narrow win over Sweden 6-5 on the second draw.
And we'll see a lot of close scores for Colleen, mostly because of the style that she plays. When you keep the game simple and you keep the game conservative, one of the risks that you take is that the scores will always be close.
Oh, I don't, you were an 8-foot, but we could, yeah, no. I think we can do this, Marianne. Okay. Yeah, that looks good too. No. know,
Yeah,
but I think
I
you'll
did.
need all of that.
Yeah, you need a little more even. Throw her firm.
Canada's second, Marianne Way.
Yep. Whoa. Curve. Whoa. Whoa. Yep. No.
It'll finish up.
Go, Kim. Go, Kim. Curve. Oh. Okay, good job.
They were looking for either the double or, most importantly, they wanted that roll inside. Colleen, of course, in her former world experiences, would have played Doherty many times.
Yeah.
Colleen Jones curling 79% after 2 games yesterday. And the Canadian team as a whole on 79% as well. Nordby's team at 69%. And Doherty slipped to 64 in her first 2 games.
That's something that I talked about at the opening, John, about the emotional content for Nordby. When you consistently can play on the year ahead, knowing that you're going to be going to a world championship, some of the excitement sort of pans. Doherty has said many times in conversations that her and I have had that Canada is her favorite place to play. It's not only because people are really nice to her, but it's also because she loves the country. Everything about it, the stands that are packed, the people
appreciation from the audience.
No question. I remember vividly in Brandon playing Doherty in a night game. The place was packed, and she made a fantastic in off the boards. She said that she felt like she was Canada, and Canadians have adopted her very much and are appreciative of the great shots that she makes. The problem with that is that when Doherty comes to an event that's outside Canada where the crowds may be quieter, there may be less of them, she has a very hard time rising to the occasion.
Wide open. Yeah, back here.
Kim Kelly, the third for Canada. This is her shot.
Hurry. Colleen, get ready.
Now, I talked to Kim just before the game this morning and asked her about the ice.
I saw you down there.
Here's the direct quote. Curlier and faster.
It was at that point I came in and said, don't talk to him. He'll use that as a quote. Kim thinking that the ice is moving a lot more. They were very disconcerted yesterday morning when it had ran very, very straight. Progressively yesterday got a little bit more, and they're happier to see that even today it seems to be moving more.
Kim said I could use that. So we'll put it in the curling dictionary.
Yeah.
Gets it by narrowly.
Very nice shot by Hannah.
Fin fart. Det bra kosta. Det gikk som det var litt lapper på denne siden.
Hannah and Doherty have been inseparable for many, many years. In 1990 and 91, they won the Worlds together. She was Hannah Peterson at that time.
Well, and you look down the list of highlights, both have been to 4 Olympics, both have curled in 13 World Championships. So this is the team from Norway.
They were together. You bet.
Men den kom jo som den gikk jo forbi med så mye. Hadde den vært løsere, så.
Final stone and 1 for Kim Kelly.
Backline to hack.
Whoa.
No. It's coming. Still got a curl, though. Good hack.
Curl.
Still needs to curl.
Whoa. Here comes.
It's coming.
Close.
Watch your roll, Miriam.
Yes.
There it is.
Great shot.
Oh, what a nice
A little bit
shot.
of curl at the end, and Canada lies 4 actually.
God, it looked like she had a ton on that.
And Kim has played
was great.
outstanding.
Yeah, great.
Yesterday,
Just look,
85 and
compared to the draw.
88% as a third at World. Some big, big shots for Colleen.
Ja.
Vi gjør det, vi. Sånn.
Da gjorde hun den veldig perfekt.
Kanskje, skal vi se. Marianne kølte litt over.
Sånn.
Ja.
Da spiller vanlig, da.
Vanlig tek.
Ja.
Doherty Nordby facing a bundle of Canadian stones.
Not sure, John, if it's 3 or 4. It's hard to tell those rocks in the 12-foot. For sure it's 3. Wants to hit and play that roll behind the guards. Try to get in there somewhere. Make it tougher for Colleen. Colleen, of course, does have last rock in this first end.
Nordby is in the hack, ready for her first delivery. on day 2.
Hold rent.
Åh!
Nei. Hold rent.
Pass på!
Nei. Nei. Vekk! Hanne, kom igjen.
Didn't get the roll she was looking for.
Fin fart.
Over on sheet E, the United States winless in 2 games up against Sweden.
Unless you cover that somehow, they can
But
just
she
kinda
can just
poke
draw
that back.
And here's a chance for Patty Lank. Sweden at 1-1 coming into competition today.
Looks like she's facing at least 2, if not 3, on this shot. Patty Lank, a very good player. Erica Brown, we've seen her many, many times in world play. Just hasn't happened for them so far, 0-2 coming into today. But here you'll see that she makes the great draw, and I would expect that this team will take it off from here and
Just to block the draw.
start to see some wins in that column.
Let her play the double. And
So 1 on the
hopefully
board
get-
for the United States and Patty Lank.
Yeah.
The American men opened with 2 victories yesterday. So they're atop the leaderboard along with Denmark, Scotland. It's a 3-way tie on the men's side, and Randy Furby, representing Canada, won his opening game as we watched yesterday. We left him for the evening draw, and he ran into a bit of a problem and lost 5-4 to Sweden. So Canada 1-1 coming into day 2 on the men's side. But Colleen Jones unbeaten so far.
Whoa. Close.
This is her first rock of the opening hand.
No.
Canada has the hammer.
No. It's just a nose.
No roll?
No.
Okay.
Kim, you know, I don't know who is
So
shot
big
over
for me,
here.
was it?
I think it's them.
Yeah.
Okay. Good shot.
It's a little strong.
Jones and company believing that
I
Norway
know, but you know, even Kim's hack.
True enough.
has the
It takes-
3rd shot
anything
rock
with weight takes
in
a
the
while.
12.
Det køler masse der, da.
Ja.
Jeg vet ikke hvordan det køler. Det
Hvis du
køler
drar,
vel
du kan
masse
få
andre veien
styring
nå.
inn, jeg kan få dragning, jeg kan få full pakke av alt sammen.
We're looking at this option of playing here, playing the draw. The other option Hannah's more comfortable with is elimination of a stone and a roll in there. Tough to get shot. They're electing to play the
Jeg har
draw
mer is enn det du hadde.
with the
Ja, men
intern
hvordan
side.
er det her?
That's this way.
Sånn.
Jeg er litt
Thinking
mer.
that if they tick off this, that's not
Enda
so
mer?
bad.
Sånn. Det er sånn som på treningen, har jeg inntrykk av. Ja, de jeg dro på treningen ble for kort på.
I heard Colleen and Kim talk about who was 4th shot. They believe it is the Yellowstone. But for Doherty does not want to give up 3. Big shot.
So are you going to Doherty's party
Må kølle.
tomorrow?
It is her birthday.
She'll be 38.
Bakkant. Bakkant gjennom. Gjennom. Gjennom.
And that will be the shot rock for now.
Han var litt lang.
Ble det
Han var
ene?
litt mye fart.
Ble det ene?
Ja, men det er greit.
Du kunne ha kjørt på
40.
styringen nå, da.
40. Så litt roligere. Du har spilt mye roligere på treningene.
I think Doherty wondering if they should have swept it a little bit and played the tick off
Ja, men det er
the
50
red
til
stone or
74.
redirect
Den var
it.
gjennom.
Spørsmålet var, det var vanskelig for Hanne. Skulle du gå på
That would
den?
be way too much ice for me.
Try to follow her down. Same
Like
shot.
she might be just throwing back line, maybe.
Would be for 3.
I wonder if she shot back there.
She threw back 12. What is draw?
3.
They're wondering about that Yellowstone, but
Yeah, 3.
it is the shot rock, definitely.
No
So you can
question.
throw 3, I'd say. Is that what you were thinking?
She just cleared that front one.
Yeah.
Hairless.
Yeah, it doesn't go in a big hurry.
What?
Yeah, you're right. It doesn't go in a big hurry.
We saw how close Doherty went by that top red one as you look at the screen on your left-hand side, and the 8-foot,
didn't go nuts,
Colleen
but
needs
mine
to
don't.
get by.
Okay. Yeah.
You can see clearly Kim questioning quietly to Marianne before Colleen got there, who was shot clearly. It is the yellow stone belonging to Norway.
Well, and Kim was looking from the other end of
Hard
the ice,
to see.
so it was difficult
Nice
to see,
try.
but obvious
Whoa.
from our
Whoa,
overhead
the
camera.
wrong way, guys.
Final stone,
Hang.
the opening end,
What
Colleen
do we
Jones,
do?
Canada.
When we
Other way.
can.
Great opportunity to start this one off with a bang.
Can we come off ours? It's for
Just
one.
like on the nose right now.
No sweep on this at all.
Okay.
Okay. Oh.
One yellow.
And there was an opportunity missed for
You know
Canada's
what?
Colleen
I knew
Jones.
that was a little
There was a chance
large.
for 3.
Wait. A little bit, but you know, that was a nose. Not even close, eh? Well, and the
Canada
weight
gives up
is good.
a steal of 1 to Norway. Second end straight ahead at the 2002 Worlds in Bismarck.
Yeah. And
It's only the opening end, but we've already found a key shot. Brought to you by Husky and Mohawk, leaders in fuel, food, and convenience.
And that key shot is Doherty Nordby's second shot. She's facing 3 Canadian stones, and this is when Doherty makes the big shots. This is what she's known for. This is what she likes to play. Just that easy sort of weight. Enough, though, to get by the top one.
A little tap back, and that would be the counter, 1-0. A steal for Norway, and Colleen Jones with her final rock actually took a little too much ice, is what they were talking about.
They were indeed, and the reality is that Colleen throws a very different rock from Doherty. Doherty's handle is a little bit lighter. What I mean by that is there's not as much rotation to it, so the rock will curl much more, and you knew that Colleen wasn't going to be light on a shot like that, and that's the spot I talked about in reading the ice. When you get there, it just doesn't want to go anywhere.
Det bra, det, Camilla.
Var jeg ute?
Ja.
no. And it would be just mayhem after that.
Now, if anything, it's a little quicker this way, right? If anything.
Nothing in the house.
That's an 80.
Nancy Delahunt.
Nancy's numbers went right back up in the second game. In the game that we brought you early yesterday morning, she was about 67%, and we talked about how unusual that was to see Nancy shoot in that range. And sure enough, last night bounced back with a 90, which is what we expect.
Okay, that's not good.
Very strong player.
Overall at 79% after 2 draws.
Team! Forkant, team!
Ja, den ser litt lang ut.
Ja, han er lenger inn i bakkant. Jøsse navn, så langt den går det. 50 til det. Det er bra, Marianne. Bra.
Just slid in a little bit too far. Doherty trying to generate guards in front, even though she was successful in taking a point last end. It was a steal. Still does not have last rock.
It's nice regular. Should come over just beautifully.
Yep.
Marianne Way
No, good.
for Canada's
Good
team.
cross. Good throw.
What?
Corner guard.
Huh?
Corner guard.
Other scores this morning, second end, it's Germany leading Russia 1-0. Scotland over Denmark 2-1
Yep.
on sheet C. Over on D, no
Yep.
score between Korea and
Yep.
Switzerland.
Yep.
And the United States off to a better start after losing both games yesterday with a 1-0 advantage.
Hvis hun var noe, så var det litt inne.
Ja.
Yeah, I don't think it'll come this much
I feel
myself.
fucked.
But... Was it? Okie doke. Nice throw.
Yep. Line's fine. It's for weight.
It is going to need it for weight.
Coming nice, hard. Line's great. Right up.
Looks like they'll like this one.
Good. Whoa. Coming out the other end.
Good work by the
sweep, you guys.
Brushers.
Great.
Great work by the Brushers.
Actually, that's great there.
Canadian team wanted to say good morning to All the personnel on the
Boy, those rings
HMCS
seem a
Preserver,
long way away.
which is currently on duty in the Arabian Sea, and the crew sent an email to Team Canada wishing them good luck. So if everyone's watching on the Preserver this morning, good morning from us too.
Fin retning. Kom igjen. Kjempefin retning. Kjemperetning.
So I've got all my business out of the way. Kath, I said good morning. I've done
Happy
the birthdays.
Litt til, Marianne. Bra, kos deg.
Well, it's either a good shot or a great shot. We're not sure.
Was it a called shot?
Bra, kos deg.
She wanted to get around the corner guard, hopefully to get right by that red stone, but great
But see, they
back-to-back
can
brushing
hit
by the
theirs
front
easily
ends of
and-
both teams.
Get ours.
Frozen right to the Canadian
what we do
stone,
about
and
that.
Colleen is trying to
If
figure
we're
out
not shot, we
which
could
rock
come
is
around theirs. I mean, it curls so much there.
the
right?
shot stone at this point.
Okay.
You be the judge.
And you're not getting on off the fence on this one, are you?
Well,
Okay,
I'm thinking
what'd
it's
you throw,
red, but I
4?
guessed yellow yesterday and it was
3-8.
wrong, so
Yeah, you're 0 for 1.
I'm 0 for 1. I don't know if you want to listen to me. So for Colleen,
for line.
regardless of who is shot, there's not a lot that she can do with that
Back eight.
stone, and so trying to get around that,
Yep.
hoping that maybe Doherty makes a play at it and solves that issue.
Hurry, line. Hurry.
It is not the most important decision at this point of the end. It could come into play later, however. Well, that settles the issue there.
Yellow.
Sometimes when you hesitate, you can be correct.
Ena.
Over on sheet D, Korea and Switzerland, second end. Korea has the hammer.
And is in their very first World Curling Championships for women.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
My Yeon Kim, the Korean skip, going against Manuela Kurman of Switzerland. That was Canada's first opponent yesterday. Colleen Jones winning that game. So
Bra, kos deg.
the Swiss are 1-1
And scores a 2.
and a 2 for Korea. So a nice
but why
beginning
is that
over
on
there.
Korean team coached and worked with by 2 Canadians, Glenn and Eileen Dag Jackson.
They had split on the first one, so.
Lots of
More
line.
room.
Lots of room. Where?
We saw in the top quarter in our feature game that the Norwegians had tried to hit and stick to lie 2, were successful in removing the Canadian stone, but rolled out in the
Hurry,
process.
hurry, hurry, hurry. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. Hard, you guys. Hard. Hard.
Well, there's a really nice shot by Kim.
Nice one.
Very nice. In behind, at least partially covered by the yellow rock there. And the red Canadian corner guard out front offering
Men nå vel en gule bedre enn den.
fairly secure situation right there for that red stone, counting in the 8.
Ja, det køler masse.
Looked at playing the option of playing this hit, and what they're saying is that if it happens to curl a little bit too much and they tick this Yellowstone, it's going on to red and red's going out, so that's not the end of the world either. You can see from the ice that they're taking, this is going to be sort of a hack to bumper, just an easy sort of weight.
Doherty Nordby stole one in the first end and has the lead at 1-0 over Canada, playing 2.
Will they get it by the top one?
Well, they nicked
Just.
the top stone, and it worked out not badly.
Well, now we're back to the who shot thing again.
Well, we'll get a close-up of that from Mark down there.
And got it anyway.
On sheet E, Sweden and the United States.
Close to call. It almost still looks like them, though.
I like this.
Patty Lank has the lead.
Yellow's getting marks. They must.
You got to get the sweep long before the curl.
Last rock for Sweden. things even there. A draw for one.
Nice draw.
Pardon me?
Swedish skip is
question there,
Margaretha Sigfridsson, but she
Is it
doesn't
close?
throw.
So close, so it wouldn't change
The final stone?
That's
Yeah.
the only.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it could. If we were shot for sure, I could go for the open flag.
Maria Engholm throws the final rocks,
Although
not
that
unlike the
yellow's pretty
Canadian
varied
men's
now,
team.
so.
Now, there you go.
Wow, that's another tough one.
No,
I
but if we
stand
were
by
shot,
my
it's-
initial
Yes,
decision of
Okay, what are you
red.
throwing?
I no doubt will change that several more times during the course of this end.
Well, and that's your privilege.
Absolutely. And for Colleen, doesn't really matter because of the way those stones are placed. There's nothing that she can do with them other than to go behind them and hope that Doherty touches it
Yep, stay on it for
or does
line
something
two.
with them, and then
Yep,
that will
hard
solve that
line,
problem.
hard.
Short.
Okay.
Short.
All right.
Don't want to bump the yellow.
Sorry, you guys.
Oh, just yellow.
Yeah.
It's yellow.
But what did they think the time
By
was?
a bit.
3-8?
I'd
I'm
say.
not sure if it's that right now.
Canada's Colleen Jones opened with a pair of victories
Like 3.5. The splits I got
in
on
the first
Kim's
two draws.
just a little bit lower than what I was getting that way for, 3.5. But
Now, the ladies think it's yellow from their vantage point.
It's tough. It's hard to tell.
Hvis du klarer å holde den unna midtlinjen godt stykke, så...
And so for Doherty, again, the play stays to that side of the sheet. You can see where Hannah's got the broom.
Ja.
Try to get in there. Colleen, of course, throwing that guard, not wanting to be a guard. Gives Doherty a chance to get around there better.
It's definitely yellow.
53 cirka på 10.
Ja, den jeg spilte
55.
nedover her, den var jo
Den var
bak.
40.
My pal Snively down there has told me. He's
55 er også.
right on the scene with his camera there, says yellow. And I'm reading his lips from here. So you don't believe my pal?
The fount of all knowledge.
Ser litt lang ut.
Ja, den er litt lang bakkant. Gjennom.
Si bakkant.
Bakkant gjennom.
Bakkant.
Bakkant.
Pass på. Si bakkant.
Fin rett.
Final stone in this end belongs to Canada's Colleen Jones. This is Doherty Nordby's last rock.
Kjempedragning.
Det er kjempebra, Doherty. Det er knall. Det køler jo så mye der. Verst at de kan sikkert hente den opp på, det er det verste.
Well hidden, and that will force Jones likely to take one here. I don't think she can get that out of there.
Yellow.
She can't. And so for Colleen, it's about drawing against one, possibly two.
Nancy got a split for Kim's that said
Definitely
3.5,
two.
But
I'm getting the word
what do you think?
relayed to me directly from ice level there.
Oh, yeah.
As I said, she'll be drawing against one, possibly two.
So do you think I can throw a 3.5 here? Yeah? Did I throw a 4 on that last one? Okay.
So for Colleen, needs to draw weight. A piece of the 8-foot's not good enough. She needs all of the 8.
Final stone, second end. Nordby stole in the first.
Full 8.
Colleen Jones looking to get even.
Yep.
Forced into taking one here in 2.
Full 8 is all you need. Nice shot, Colleen.
Nice weight.
Well, that looked like it's slowing down,
That
though.
is coming down, you know.
It's
not-
slower in the
not-
house.
It's not the same.
You could.
One red.
I think you could probably stay on and just bring.
Yeah.
One red. It's all even. Jones takes 1 and 2 to even things up. It's day 2 at the 2002 Ford Worlds at the Civic Center in Bismarck, North Dakota.
The 2002 Ford World Curling Championships on TSN are brought to you in part by Husky and Mohawk, leaders in fuel, food, and convenience. By JVC, excite your senses. And by Whirlpool Home Appliances, proudly supporting extraordinary Canadian women athletes and everyday champions across the country.
Back live inside the Civic Center in Bismarck, North Dakota. It's day 2 of the 2002 Ford World Curling Championships. Good morning again. I'm John Wells, and this is Kathy Gauthier. This is your speaking part here. When you're introduced, you say, good morning.
Hello. Welcome to the show.
Hurry! Ooh, just can't get those noses. Okay.
Got some serious clanking going on. I don't know what it is.
One red Canadian stone in play in the house in the 12.
Hva sa du? Vi kan godt vente. Nei, vi kan også søke dere. Ja. For nå ligger han ikke midt i gravninga, liksom. Ja.
Camilla Holth is 23 and lists Colleen Jones as one of her favorite people.
People that she admires.
Heroine. That's kind of interesting, isn't it?
Quite neat.
Ja, det fikk jeg med denne. Den er litt lang, da. Ser fin ut. Hva? Den ser veldig fin ut. Det er bra. Jeg køler litt mye.
A couple minutes ago, Colleen had to step out for a minute. Doherty holding the broom for the Canadian lead, Nancy Delahunt, to throw, and very happy. Gives her the big wave. Well thrown. Great lady, lots of fun. Here's Doherty.
Line's fine. Line's great. You got room. Line's perfect now. Hard.
Trying to get that rock into the house to lie 2.
Narrowly by.
Okay, what was the split on my draw, Kim? Do you remember?
Well, Brush
Not
just
quite.
not able to get it there.
I just can tell by how slow
fast. Yeah. No, I'm not thinking about this one. I'm just thinking in my own mind for my weight.
God plass! Parka! Lang gå. Lang køle litt.
10.
This whole team has a huge depth of experience, even though it was Hannah and Doherty that had won in 1990 and 91. Second, Marianne, that you've just seen, has 2 Olympics behind her, 5 World Championships. Even though she's a relatively new member of this team, she is a world silver medalist in 97 and a bronze in 96. She's been with this team for a while, and that always means great success.
Lovely throw. Yep. Hurry! Hard, you guys.
And this is Canada's Marianne. Marianne Way. Seconds have the same name, spelled differently.
Bit of a miscue from Marianne Way there in ticking the guard. Doherty looking at her options. Do you play the tight guard? Do you split the house? You have last rock, Doherty, so I think what you want to do is go that way.
Ja, eller å dra bak igjen, da, ikke sant? Hvis du legger guard, så det lett for henne å dra bak, ikke sant? Men samtidig så det lett for henne å slå og rulle bak også, ikke sant? Nei, vi drar. Ja.
And that is, in fact, the call.
Roligere. Fin retning. 10. Fin retning, god plass.
Marianne Haslam of Norway. This is her second shot.
Vi må ta den, Doherty.
In the third end.
Så drar vi en godt bakke. Ja, vi jobber med saken.
Norway lies 2.
Ja.
On sheet C, it's Denmark versus Scotland. Scotland
Jeg fikk 56.
with a 2-1 lead.
And one of those teams that you talked about today, John, at the top of the leaderboard at 2-0.
Jackie Lockhart of Scotland against Lenny Bidstrup of Denmark.
Firm. Whoa.
Another one of those teams.
I think we got
2-0 at the top of the leaderboard.
Right. Yeah, we got a little roll. No, we got a nose.
And this looks to be like a draw for 2 for the team from Scotland. Needs full 4.
And looking good. Heavy brush on that one. They get it there. And we'll count 2. 4-1 Scotland. What little we saw of the Scots yesterday, they played a very, very nice game in the opening draw. For Scotland, that was a really easy 12-5 win over Russia. But they made the nice shots.
12-5. Vad jäntar det här?
Norwegian third, Hannah Woods. And again, Norway lies 2.
Ja, väldigt nära. Så mycket mer så.
Over on sheet D, Korea leading Switzerland 2-0. And a chance for multiple points for the Swiss. Skip by Manuela Korman.
Wow, you can see if she's able to get this just to the inside. It's for 4.
1, 2, you're right.
Okay, yep.
Makes the shot, gets the 4.
Yep.
And what a way to bounce back after giving up 2 in the opening end.
Great shot, Kim.
Great double there by Kim Kelly.
Kimmy bailing on out again.
So Canada lying 2. Norway with the hammer in a 1-1 game.
Some great shots by Kim. Yesterday we saw her making the run backs and the great hits and rolls, and this end certainly had been shaping up like a very good chance for Norway to score 2. Kim just took that away.
I won't hang around. The Norway shooter. So just 1 rock in the house belonging to Canada.
Ja, vi køller det, men det gjør sikkert sammen der oppe.
And Skip's rocks to come here in 3.
Yeah. You simmer down, Missy. Yeah. That was good.
Let's choke it.
Did you say choke in the corner?
Yeah. A little less, Nance. 3.5.
Just trying to get around. You can see the movement, what they're taking, trying to get around here today.
Less again.
Even though they're tightening the ice. That's still lots of ice compared to yesterday.
Ice a little faster this morning.
Seems to be a little bit quicker, more movement. This is more consistent with what ice conditions were like on day 1. Not a competition, but a practice.
Your line is fine.
Line's good.
And that's why yesterday the Canadian women's team first thing in the morning was a little bit surprised by what it is that they found to play on.
Line's great, guys. Line's great. Yeah. Wait
Around the long yellow stone.
Very nice shot by Colleen.
Great sweeping, you guys.
Good shot.
Canada lying 2.
Okay, a little more leg drive would be good.
Nice shot, Colleen.
I was sweep on him to sweep it. Had to hold myself back to put my broom down. Get it out of here. Yeah.
Hva sa du?
Jeg kan dra ned bak hit.
Ja.
Da nå ute.
Du spiller omtrent samme fart, da. Men Marianne sin kom ikke før helt på slutten.
Ja, du kører så mye.
Men hennes kommer jo masse. Sant?
På din så hadde jeg 52. Ja.
You can translate Norwegian with your little telestrator, can't you, Kath?
I can. It's not literal, but the effect is good.
Kom litt sent, Marianne. Men hennes kom hele veien. Du er ikke noe om denne her havner bak 10 og baki der, altså. Nei.
Doherty made the good draw, the come around last end on her second one, which was the rock that forced Colleen to draw for 1. Very similar shot right here.
Doherty Nordby's first stone here in the third end in a 1-1 game.
Fin räddning! Kämperäddning, ja! Ja! Ja!
2 stones in play in the house. Both belonging to Canada. Nordby just ticks off that Canadian stone and will remain in the open in the 8th.
She had great weight, and earlier in the game we heard Colleen say, you got to call it before it starts to cut. You waited just a little too long.
Over on sheet E, Sweden and the United States. America gets a chance to draw for 2. This is Patty Lank. Tough start
You can almost throw it straight
in her
there.
homeland yesterday, losing both games.
And her team played very well. For Patty, she had a really tough day, shooting 1 game below 50%, the other one only in the 60s, and that's not going to win you games at the World Championship, and that's not Patty Lank at her finest.
She has her draw weights down today, however, and that's is for 2. 3-1, USA leading Sweden.
Big hair.
Oh, Colleen.
Good fix.
Yep.
What didn't she like?
Not much of anything right about there. But again, the mark of a really good player is to stay really focused and still get it to the stick. And will they get a piece? Not only did they get
And
a
a
piece,
little bit of a roll as well. So she didn't like her exit from the hack, but the result is not bad at all.
I had to drag the knee, try to bring her back. That's hard. That's a hard fix. I had more than rudder action going on that one.
Lovely results.
Let me just get it back out there. Don't come out here.
The back out's a good idea.
Well, you're sliding that tight into it. Mother, was I tight?
Didn't say.
So now the final rock of the end, belonging to Dorothy Nordby.
Butterfly! 10! Butterfly! Ja! Kom igen!
Nordby facing 3 Canadian stones. And all she can do is try to draw for 1.
and she does.
There you go.
Du drog mot hur många? 3? Det är bra.
So Nordby stole 1 and 1, takes 1 and 3, and that's the lead. 2-1, Norway leading Canada.
Hi, I'm Marcel Rock from Team Canada. Watch us today on TSN.
Here's the matchup you'll see with Ray, Vic, and Linda at 1 o'clock Eastern today. Canada against Japan. Canada at 1 and 1. And it is 3 o'clock Eastern. Let me correct that. 3 o'clock Eastern time. Noon Pacific.
Marcel Rock leading all leads considerably, having 2 great games so far. And so far, we certainly have had the game that we expected to see. Some great shots by both teams. Kim Kelly making the great double last end to get Canada out of a situation where they looked like they were going to give up 2, and that really began a change of tides, if you will, and all of a sudden, Doherty shooting against 3 with her last rock.
Norway at 1 and 1. Canadian team at 2 and 0 coming into day 2 after wins yesterday over Switzerland and Sweden.
Good one, Nance.
Interesting, Kathy, en route to a world championship last year for Colleen Jones. The team began with back-to-back losses.
Indeed.
It's just, intense.
And still managed to win 7 in a row to finish at 7 and 2 and then win the final over Sweden.
Yep.
It's always tough when you're playing in something like a Scott or a Briar or a World. Sometimes people focus too much on records at the outset of the week. You also need to look at how well you are playing, what things you're doing right and wrong, and also who it is that you've played. Have you played the 2 top front runners, or are you playing what you would think is the bottom of the field?
Obviously, who's left on your dance card when you look ahead to the week after a shaky start?
You bet.
Just nice way. Control.
Sort of.
Little soft.
Yep.
But for Colleen Jones, it was third time lucky
That was great.
a year ago in Lausanne,
shot.
winning her first World Championship.
Marianne. Nice
And this
way.
team has played very well
No, I guess it's very good. I agree, though. It looked that way.
in the 3 games so far, or at least 2 games and 3 ends thus far.
And a pretty wide open end this end, and that resulted in Norway's first rock coming into the house and out of the free guard zone, which meant that Colleen and her team could hit against those stones.
Good corner over here.
Over on sheet A, 4th end, Germany and Russia. 2-2. Germany looking for its first victory. This team skipped by Natalie Nessler. Russia at 1-1.
Had a chance to see that Russia faces 2, needs to make the double if she's going to be able to score a point.
Looking for the double kill, and not that time. So a steal for Germany and a 3-2 advantage. That's on A. This is on B, right next door. Canada, Norway.
Shot.
With Dorothy Nordby leading 2-1.
Okay, good.
Colleen playing a little bit of a more aggressive game this morning than we are used to seeing. Chose instead of playing the hit and roll off the Yellowstone, which is what she normally would play with last rock, throwing the corner guard. So Doherty, of course, threw that guard for a reason and is now asking Hannah to get around it. Hannah likes the other way. Hannah wins. And they're drawing around the red stone.
Er det nok? Fin retning. Det er ganske rolig, er det ikke? God plass. Lang gå. Det er forkant. Forkant. Nå kommer den. Ja.
Canada with the last rock here in 4. Nordby comes out to help the Brushers, and they drag it into the 12. So Norway with 2 stones in play.
Okay.
Other scores on sheet C. Another steal of 2 for Scotland over there. 6-1 is the lead. Switzerland on top of Korea, 4-2. USA increasing the advantage on Sweden, 3-1 now.
Can't be right.
And only 3 points on the board here on sheet B. Steal of 1 by Norway in the first. Canada tied it up in 2. Norway took the lead in the 3rd end.
And a rare mistake here by Canada's 3rd, Kim Kelly. She knew it almost as soon as she let go of the rock. She got up and walked away.
Oh, I shouldn't have been thinking more, because I've been throwing more than I mean to, so I should have just thought less. And I think I threw hack, didn't I? 28. Oh.
10 holder.
Eller mye, kanskje?
Hva?
Det køler så mye. Ja, det køler masse også. Så
Det holder med 10. Ja.
A little bit of the giggles in the hack.
Norway's 3rd, Hannah Woods.
10. Pass på. Yep. 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 Er den lengre?
Ja, 10 bakkant.
Oh.
Trying to just raise that stone straight back. It's a little bit of an angle, but nonetheless moves it into the 8-foot.
Han så vidt bak til deg, det er bra.
Yeah, if they tapped it right in behind that stone, hit it on a slight angle there, so that is open to Canada.
She'll want to do this anyway. I'll just give you regular.
Here's Kim Kelly's second rock in 4.
Close. Clean only.
Close.
Clean only.
Whoa.
Whoa.
No.
Just a clean.
No.
It's a long way to come.
Whoa. Girl.
That weight might be getting up a little bit on her, eh? Is that fairly firm, or was it all right?
Oh, that's pretty regular.
I just noticed her last 2 hits and the last 2 ends were very firm. The in turn.
A roll the other way might have been a little more beneficial.
Crash, and they were thinking Marianne had thrown hers pretty well, so she probably just kept it up. But no, I think Marianne kind of came at it. She did.
Ja. Men skal vi prøve den rullen? Ja.
Ja.
So for Doherty, choosing to throw the out turn on this, we always talk about Colleen and her clear preference for the out turn, but when you look at the statistics, no one likes the out turn more than Doherty. The numbers are huge. Only threw 3 in turns yesterday and 14 out turns in one of her games.
That does establish a pattern, doesn't it?
It does indeed. And those stats are available to everyone, and one of the things that teams use as a tool is to take a look at those stats and decide how they might want to force the play a little bit.
Nordby stone, and the shooter will not remain.
Mangler 2 segment på vei. Synd det. Oi, så
Ja.
derfra. Jeg så sterk.
11-5 eller 12. Hun har spilt jevn fart hele veien og kommer med en dundre, liksom.
Jeg må ha blitt sterkere.
I mean a stabilizer of preference.
You can see that Yellowstone is completely buried.
Here.
Okay, got it.
So for Colleen,
Little
needs to
less.
draw around that.
Canada with a hammer here
Fair
in
less
4.
again.
You got to get by that yellow, too.
I know it.
Yeah.
You know it?
I know, but your back line wouldn't have even been close, you know, and if you take
Yeah.
4 feet off of that, you gotta, sitting in the open's not gonna do me any good.
Okay.
3.5, eh?
Yeah.
I agree with Colleen. You don't want to sit in the open, but on the other hand, if she was watching Hannah and the results of her stone, at the end when it started to break, it went completely sideways.
Hard line!
First stone for Colleen Jones in 4.
Very hard.
Watch this rock break now.
You gotta go. Hurry!
Right on cue, Kath.
Hurry, you're on it, but go. Spin it. Hurry. Okay.
And off the yellow to sit shot.
See, I couldn't tell from Kim. I know Kim's wouldn't have come close to bearing, and I know it was back line, but I knew I couldn't afford to kind of take that same. In other words, I didn't learn a lot from Kim's.
It's close. Broom's good.
By Colleen ticking that stone, she rolled her shooter in the open, and that's the stone that Doherty will remove.
Skjerp er kul.
Ja.
And Norway will lie 2 if she's successful. Final stone for Doherty Nordby.
Teaches curling for a living.
Ah, bra med fart!
Knows the game well, obviously,
Bra med fart!
in her 13th World Championship.
Det er bra.
And a little bit of a roll
Nei,
Very
se på
as well. So Jones faces 2 Norwegian rocks as she gets set for her final stone of the 4th end.
So do you want just there, Colleen?
I got to make sure it doesn't hang on
we came
center.
out
Yeah, that's
tighter
good.
than that even, didn't we? She was just off center.
It's a good shot by Doherty because you
Weight
can
was good,
see
though.
that she cannot access this stone for a hit and roll. And if she hits this one, there is no way to roll and out count this one, which means that what she's got is the same draw that she just tried to play, but
And
this
didn't
time, exactly, John, and this time she needs to go through a hole so it gets tougher when you don't make it the first time.
Colleen Jones had the hammer to begin, and that didn't work out well. Nordby stole in the first end. This is her final stone in 4, and she's facing 2 Norwegian stones and a little bit of trouble here.
Needs to get to the 8-foot. We're looking for about 13 and a half to 14.
Line's fine now.
No, we don't need to sweep.
Looking to draw for the tie with Norway leading 2-1. And through the hole. Right there.
Nicely done, Colleen.
Very nice play by Colleen Jones. With a little pressure on. Norway sitting with 2 in the house. Canada gets back to even. It's 2-2 as we head to the 5th. Let's meet the teams. Here are the leads. Camilla Holth of Norway. Nancy Delahunt, Canada. Marianne Haslam against Marianne Way. The thirds, Hannah Woods for Norway. Kim Kelly for Canada. And the skips, 2 of the very best. Dorothy Nordby, Norway, and Canada's Colleen Jones. Welcome back. It's the 2002 Ford Worlds. This is the Civic Center in Bismarck, North Dakota. Canada-Norway in a 2-2 tie. And you get the feeling this one is going to be close right to the 10th.
It should be, and we would expect to see that when you have 2 very strong teams. I think that the Canadian team from start to finish is probably a stronger one, but the skips are very even.
Nancy Delahunt, 2 children at home, and a husband, David. The kids are Jane and Kevin, 10 and 8, respectively.
Good.
And the woman that actually holds the broom in the house for Colleen, the person that she feels the most comfortable with when she throws her last rock. Camilla, one of 2 curling instructors on this team. The other one, of course, is Dorothy.
So they've got both ends of the lineup covered with curling advice.
Well, I think most teams have about 4 people full of advice.
Right here.
And once again, we seem to be starting with a relatively open end, but what always seems to happen is, ironically enough, after the 4-guard zone is when we start to see rocks up front.
And if your back is aching, you call Marianne.
Yep.
You're a member of the Canadian team.
Hurry! Hard!
Husband is Jonathan. The daughter at home is Lauren.
She's here.
Oh, she's here.
She is here.
Good.
First Worlds at 4.
Der eller der? Her?
Norway's second, Marianne Haslam. She's been to 2 Olympics. Nagano in '98, Salt Lake this year, and 5 World Championships.
83. 78 fikk jeg, men det var... Kom igjen, litt videre.
Talked about the format, how the Norwegian teams do select their champions that do come to this event. It is a 4-team round-robin playoff, and Dorothy has won that pretty much forever.
Denmark struggling on sheet C, 5th end. Scotland already with a 6-1 advantage.
And Lenny Bidstrup really hasn't had a lot to work with since she started to gamble in about the 3rd end. And this is another example of where there's a pile of yellow ones that face her.
Denmark unbeaten coming into the 3rd draw. Then 2, Scotland is as well. Jackie Lockhart's perfect so far. And that goes a little bit too deep. So a steal of 2, 8-1 Scotland.
Obviously didn't curl as much as she thought either.
Yeah.
Back on our sheet, of course, Norway has that guard up. Canada trying to get around it, still in the open, and so a chance for the Norwegian team to hit and roll if they're able to get by.
And a tiny little roll there.
Nice shot.
Or draw.
Or the come around.
Draw.
Okay.
You can see from that shot that there's not a whole lot that Colleen and the team can see.
I don't know what the weight is out there, Nance. Is it the same? It probably will, looking at yours. Okay, 3.5, eh? 56.
Here's Kim Kelly, a pharmacist at home. 2 children. Brett is 10 and Madison 6.
And I saw them running around cheering for Canada earlier today, so they're here as well, along with Michael.
Yep, hard line. Hurry! Hurry line, hard.
Kim and 8 Scots.
Hurry, quick.
First one's
Okay,
as a
might as well
second, always for
Good.
Colleen.
Bump it hard.
Poke it out.
Okay. Good throw, Kim.
Okay.
Nice weight.
Reason they wanted to bump that hard if they weren't going to be able to bury is so that if the Norwegians happen to roll out, they'll have a chance to make that hit on the Yellowstone that is now away from the protection of that long guard.
Hannah Woods talked about her 4 Olympic appearances dating back to Calgary in '88. And that year Norway finished 3rd, winning a bronze medal. Second in Albertville in '92 for a silver.
Bra, Kosta. En fin fart.
Go.
There's no point in playing that way.
I can get the hit and roll this
And
way,
of course,
too.
looking back to '88 in Calgary, Kathy, no one could beat Linda Moore.
There's not much point in playing that one,
Untouchable.
Colleen.
And there are
not
the
much
children,
point
in
in
fact,
playing that
of the
one.
Canadian team.
I don't know if we can
Well,
figure
not
out
really.
who's
I mean, hit
who.
and stay there would be great.
Well, they're just going to come around
These
on
kids
the
have lots
upturn.
of energy. They're doing the Go Canada Go
I
thing,
guess
circling
I've
the
got a couple
building
options with this guy.
while their moms are doing their best. They looked very seriously, they being Colleen, at this stone.
Just regular, eh, Colleen?
This is a
Pardon
stone
me?
to
Just
play.
regular?
Just regular,
because
Kim, yeah.
it is wide open. You don't want to risk ticking on that guard and giving up 3. Kim Kelly can make a big roll here.
Yeah, firm.
Whoa.
Close.
Oh, close, yeah.
We're playing the
Whoa,
5th,
whoa,
Canada,
whoa, whoa.
and Norway in a 2-2 tie.
Whoa,
Canada
baby.
getting back to even
Whoa,
in
whoa.
4, so the
baby,
hammer
whoa,
belongs to
whoa,
Norway
whoa,
here.
whoa.
Great
What
shot.
And that's a
peach.
wonderful roll, isn't
Lovely
it?
shot.
Kim Kelly.
You could not have picked that rock up and put it down in a better spot. What a great shot.
Well, you could with your telestrator, but
Look at this, hits it absolutely perfect.
Oh, I knew it was a little firm if it just, I wanted it to come a little
And
more.
there she goes.
I don't think it can get much better than
They're
that.
not playing it, though.
And they're talking in the background as we listen in about what they
I'm
would have
happy with it, too.
liked to have seen to make it even a better shot, you know, and that's hard to believe, isn't it?
It's a great shot. The only thing they don't like about it is that if it had rolled less, then it would have made it tougher for Doherty to bump that Yellowstone straight back, but it is a shot that Doherty is not, at this point, even looking at.
Fin retning. Bare fart.
Norwegian
Og
3rd,
Kølle.
Hannah
Og
Woods.
Kølle.
And this is her final stone
Nå kommer han.
in 5.
Kom igjen. Fin retning. Kom igjen. Kom igjen. Litt til. Kom igjen. Litt til. Kom igjen. Kom igjen. Kom igjen nå. Kom igjen. Kom igjen. Bra.
Bra, Anna. Bra, Marianne.
That'll be the shot stone now.
Det er bra, Kosta.
Hannah making some big shots this morning.
Den er fin, den. Skukkert. Ja.
Er det nok is, sier det hver gang.
Ja.
Faen, det irriterer meg.
Jo, men jeg er så dritlei av å gå i garden, ikke sant? Jeg er så dritlei av å køle over.
Curl it, God. It should curl, though, there, shouldn't it? Yours was just weird.
Back line. Let's get to the news. What was that one? A 3.5 still?
Yeah. That nice weight you've been throwing,
Hair
whatever
less.
you've been throwing, is perfect.
Has to just throw back line any more than that, and the rock will hang out and drive it just onto her own there, which is the risk with this. And of course, less you tick the guard. This is about perfect weight.
And this is about the star of Canadian curling, Colleen Jones.
It's gonna need line. Your line's fine. Line's
Played
fine.
in 15 Scott Tournament of Hearts and won 4 times.
Quick! Have you got enough to
Back to defend her world title won last year in Lausanne. First shot for Colleen Jones here in 5.
Great brushing by the team, just not the weight for the shot.
Okay. Sorry.
Norway still with a shot stone.
Oh, darn it. That would have been a perfect opportunity to do that with a little more weight. Huh?
So they had, what, about back 4, though?
Yeah,
By the time it...
yeah, it was just 2 feet shy, you know, that was it. It slowed down. Like, I mean, I asked them, does it have enough to move it coming across the hog line? They said, yeah, and it just lost it. It just lost its momentum coming into the house.
Jeg så ordentlig bak garden, liksom, på en måte. Ja.
So for Doherty wants to play the half-half. Get around here, maybe move this rock over a little bit, roll or shoot her into this area. If she happens to get by this rock and just park it right about there, that's okay too.
Ja.
Has to get another rock into the 4-foot area. That stone, Colleen moved enough that it's pretty much wide open now.
Ja.
And there's the other half of the curling instructing team from Norway.
13 World Championship appearances dating back to 1982. Irony there, that was Colleen Jones' first appearance at the Worlds.
And who do you think won that game?
1982, let me look that up.
It was Norway. And then they went on to play each other once again in the tiebreaker, and Doherty also won that. A little bit of history between these teams. And a great shot there by Doherty.
Sitting 2. Sheet E, 5th end, United States. Patty Lank.
Yeah.
Leading 3-2.
Yeah.
Final stone here.
And we have to be careful because
Sweden
you hit that
at 1-1. The United States looking for victory number 1 at 0-2 coming in. And things are turning around for this American team. A count of 3.
Doesn't matter if I stay, you guys.
And a
Let's just
6-2
get rid of that 1
advantage.
and let her draw for 2.
There you heard
If
the
I
call.
happen to stay.
They can't
Just don't wanna
afford
be
to
cute with
play
that
this
curl there.
cute. If she ticks this stone, it jams on her own. The potential, lots of yellows.
Final stone, Colleen Jones facing
Clean.
a lot of trouble here in 5.
Ooh, we don't even have a piece. Oh yeah, we got a piece.
Norway sitting 2
Curl up,
with the
curl up,
last
curl up,
rock
curl
to
up.
come. And this is Colleen's
Nice one.
last opportunity. So there you go. Wide open hit
Nice
for
throw.
2 for Doherty Nordby.
She'll play the draw though, John. She's just thrown that. She's thrown them a
Happier with
couple
that?
times.
Yeah, but that guy
Absolutely.
wasn't looking. He wasn't watching. I turned around and looked at the other hog line judge. She didn't even flinch, but man, she was over by a hand.
Really?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Oh well. I'm afraid I cannot call nor confirm.
I think you should be able to.
Hold on.
There are hogline officials, of course, that are at both ends, and what you need to have in order to have a stone removed is for both hogline officials to not only see, but to agree. There's one gentleman right there whose job it is to just watch the hogline, and if they feel that a player is over, they would radio to the person across the rink. If they agree and confirm that the person is over, that's when the decision is made.
Final stone, 5th end. A chance for 2 for Doherty Nordby
Come in!
of Norway.
Come in! Come in on that! Come in!
And they got it. Looking to draw for 2. And a point for Canadian Stones. Just biting the 4 foots. They got it there. And Norway takes control again. A couple in 5. And a 4-2 lead on Canada, heading to the 5th end break.
The 2002 Ford World Curling Championships on TSN are brought to you by Nokia, proud sponsor of the Nokia Briar, by Karcher, quality cleaning equipment, and by Ford. Ford of Canada supports the love of the sport and the drive to achieve.
Welcome back to Bismarck. Time for an update as we scan over to sheet D, Korea and Switzerland. 4-3 on the board as you saw it there. But a chance for Switzerland to add to that total.
Chance for 3. Told you yesterday they do have field goals there.
Count up the yellow stones. It'll be 7-3. Over on A, it's a 3-2 advantage for Germany, leading Russia. In our feature game this morning, 2 for Dorothy Nordby and 5 and a 4-2 lead on Colleen Jones. Scotland, 8-1, trust me. But if you add up the bottom line, you can get to there. A lot of 2s up. There you go. And we just showed you there, 7-3. United States looking for win number 1. A better day, Kathy, for Patty Lank.
No question.
How would you like to go cruising down the Missouri this afternoon?
I'm in.
We'll jump on that paddle boat just like Lewis and Clark. It'll be Wells and Goche on the Missouri later today. Welcome back to Bismarck. Here's After 5. The numbers are brought to you by True Value.
And this is the number that Canadians need to be the most concerned about. It is the draw weight, particularly Marianne Way struggling this morning to try to get those rocks in the right position. Colleen on that last great chance to force Nordby into a tough situation, light on a tap back, and that's why 63%, and that's why we have a 4-2 game in favor of Norway.
Dorothy Nordby always has a wonderful time at the World Curling Championships. It's her birthday week, and tomorrow
That's good. We can go
she'll
corner
celebrate again with her 38th.
We've been patient long enough for the corner, haven't we? That's deep.
Right now, celebration
Yes, we have.
will not happen for a bit, but Norway does have a 2-point lead at 4-2.
Don't usually see Colleen playing the corner guard game a whole lot. She's not needed to, but we heard her say just before we came back live that to her team, I am ready to play, which means she wants to have the rocks in play. In some ways, this forces her into Doherty's style of game, but when you're down 2 points, you need to use the 4-guard zone in order to generate some offense.
Shot.
Doherty looking to guard that stone in the back of the 8-foot.
This is Camilla Holth.
Camilla, actually, their alternate, Trina Trulson Vagberg. Trina with a great history as well as a skip out of Norway, not playing so far this week.
Den bra, Camilla.
On the nose.
Nose? Okay.
Clean.
Close.
Clean, yep. Yeah, hard. 3. Hard. 3. Hard. Quick.
Looking for it right on the button.
Good, that's good.
Yeah.
Hit it on the nose, removed 1 yellow stone.
Not a bad shot by Nancy for Doherty to remove that stone. The risk is driving it back onto her own.
So trying to avoid the jam here.
Doherty giving her the sign. If she makes the hit and roll, she's going to miss the back one on the way by.
Okay, tall.
The roll in behind the cover provided by the Canadian corner guard. The hits and a little bit of a roll. Germany versus Russia on sheet A as we look in live. Last rock for Olga Jarkova of Russia. Watching it all the way. Chance for a couple. We'll count them up. 3 for Russia. And all of a sudden the lead.
The Russian Federation with a 1-1 record, defeating Korea pretty handily last night or yesterday afternoon late, 13-5. And they were right in that game, actually, with Jackie Lockhart yesterday in that 12-7 game that we talked about. It was 5 points in the final end that were scored by Scotland. So if you take that off and you've got a 7-7 game and you don't have last rock and are gambling big, it really doesn't matter whether you give up 1 or 5.
There, the shooter doesn't hang around, so the house is empty again.
For Marianne Way, a chance to find the elusive draw weight and to use that corner guard that was thrown there by Nancy.
Might need a little help.
Talking about our boat cruise later this afternoon, some famous people come here from here in North Dakota. Roger Maris comes from North Dakota.
I knew that one.
Phil Jackson, coach of the Lakers.
There you go.
That was your cue that you blew. Angie Dickinson was on what show?
Oh, Angie Dickinson, yes.
Okay, well, that's not the answer of the show, but that's all right. And Mr. Bubbles, who would that be?
Actually hit the Canadian dollar.
The markets are thrown into some doubt because Martin will have to be replaced. So it's a bit of a crude joke.
You've really spent a lot of time at the library here in Bismarck, obviously.
It's a tough grind when you're the rookie. Gets a piece, the risk is the jam, but scoots it out the back.
And empty again.
Okay, so 56, whatever that is.
Trying to get
this is Kim Kelly.
Sorry, John, trying to get this stone not only buried but high in the house so that Doherty is not able to even make a play at it.
Still room. Okay, yeah, help bury some. Tear better. Go, yep.
This is the straightest spot in the ice we talked to you about early.
Tucked in nicely behind. First final on the center sheet. Sheet C, Scotland improves to 3-0 after an 8-2 victory over Denmark.
A little deep on that, Kim, actually.
So Denmark suffers
I don't mind that.
loss number 1. And Scotland atop the standings for now.
Keeping in mind that, like the Canadian system, 4 teams do make the playoffs, but that is not the Page system. There are 2 semifinals where the first place team plays 4, 2 plays 3, and both of those semifinals are sudden death.
Just back 8 here. Just
okay. Yeah. So that's not much more than what I just threw, eh?
Not really.
Okay.
3 feet?
Yeah.
Kim Kelly's second stone here in 6.
Whoa, though.
It's just back 8. Still has to curl.
Need to get to the inside. They're not perfectly frozen, but nonetheless a very good stone by Hannah.
Yep. Whoa.
She's got great weight on the shot. Very nice shot.
Kim, good shot.
Canada lying 2.
Lovely shot.
And Jones will have the hammer after giving up 2 to Norway in 5.
Du kan jo godt bare dra hit også, da.
Det var det jeg tenkte på.
Hvis du drar oppå her, så får du jo toeren.
Jeg tror det var veldig viktig is du hadde.
Heller dra nedpå, da.
Sånn.
Hannah stood in front of the house and looked back to see if there was enough of that red stone just rolled there by Kim, if she could play the double. The decision was that she could not. And so the choice is that what they feel the only thing that they have is to corner freeze onto that red stone.
Down to Skips Rocks here in 6.
Så kan dere ta den litt på slutten. Ja. Det samme is som Hanna hadde.
Doherty's made some really big draws today. She's more known for the Wobie Dazzlers, the plinks off the boards and the great big weight shots, but Colleen has kept her away from those today.
The Wobie Dazzlers?
You betcha.
Is that Norwegian?
I don't know, it's not even good English.
First stone for Nordby here in 6. Facing 2 Canadian Reds, looking to freeze to the front one. Taps it back.
Vi dytter den litt bak 10, ja.
Jeg måtte holde.
It's not a bad shot.
That's been the difference.
Not with weight to bring it back.
Now, what does Colleen Jones do with that yellow stone?
Yeah, I really don't. I mean, with the weight you'd have to play, the house is so dead, you just sort of put it to there, maybe.
Yeah, really.
So, what are the options? You could play...
Peel.
A peel.
That would be a little dangerous, wouldn't it, Kath? Peeling that out of there.
She's talking about peeling the guard, just
peeling the guard.
open
Okay.
it up.
I thought she was talking about just
this one obviously isn't going to bounce
edging that one.
See, I hate to come here and tap that, because then I'm leaving her a double, aren't I?
Now, what if you come right here?
No. Yeah, but I don't know.
Do you think we can get to
the
inside?
Do you think it's straight pick out?
Enough to get it in here, though? I just think it's so... Really? So you think we could get there with enough weight to move it to here?
Okay. Because we're shot now.
You know what, Colleen?
No,
well, we're
what they're
just
talking about now is what I was really trying to say there.
For your last one, I think, to score
in the
two.
first
you know
place,
like
but
put it somewhere.
Doesn't seem like that's a real easy shot to me, Kath. Just to.
Well, they're talking about getting to the inside now and poking it this way.
That way, okay.
I don't really think that that's there.
But I don't know if we need to lie 2 right now. You know, I mean, what if we go here? What's she going to do?
Keep in mind, Colleen has the last rock here.
I think she would try to bump. I'm afraid, Marianne, if I don't literally get to there, and if I chap there, then I'm sitting her there for shot.
Yeah, I think that is... I mean, it might look different from the hack, but that's a... I think that's a... I think it's...
I don't think it's a good call either, because even if you make it, you're rolling your shooter over here, which means
thing is, I mean, if you do,
Doherty,
okay.
What?
If well, again, if you do it, you're here, right?
Yeah, and
she's just going to freeze down to this one anyway. Okay. You know what? This is a double shot too. If it's hanging, Colleen, we can just chip it that way and come here, right?
So lots of discussion, lots of decision. There are quite a few options. What they're playing is just to pick it this way.
It comes sideways.
We're sitting shot now.
What? You know what? Whatever
you like. Do you like that?
I'm not sure what I like, really. You know, if this is there without jamming, without catching a piece of ours.
She's thinking she can get to the
I guess it's higher in the house, so it depends on.
Is a huge
like with
risk.
my weight, I saw a little less than that rock.
I don't
so
like
guess
the shot.
From that perspective, it's doable, except that it's higher, and I don't know, can we push it? The other guy was a little more out of the way behind it too, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
The other thing.
He was that other guy.
Now, what's interesting here, Kath, without interrupting too much, there are no timeouts allowed at the World Championships.
I mean, I'm sure it's doable.
75 minutes straight time, so this is costing
I do like it, but
Canada
because
precious
I want to
moments
throw your
as
weight
this
to get the
discussion
movement.
continues.
if I even catch a piece of ours, I'm afraid it's going to just sit there in the back of the port.
I don't think it will, Skipper.
Okay.
Very even on the times right now.
About a 3?
I threw
2.5. 2.5.
Ask them.
So the decision is that Marianne felt that they could get to the inside of that yellow stone enough to tap it back. Colleen is currently shot.
Close. Yep. Hurry!
First stone here in 6 for Colleen Jones.
Come on, baby.
She'll have 1 after this, and thus the hammer.
Whoa. Okay. That's okay too.
I think.
And that wasn't plan A.
And that was the risk. You had to take tight enough ice to get to the inside, and you probably do lose the guard.
Sheet E, 6th end, the United States, Patty Lank, with a comfortable 6-2 advantage against Sweden. Margaretha Sigurdsson at 1-1. Patty Lank of the United States at 0-2, looking for win number 1 today, and it's been a good morning so far for the American curlers.
Maria Engholm throws last rock for the Swedish team, and all kinds of trouble here.
Count them, Kath, and this one is sliding right through.
4.
10-2. There'll be a handshake shortly.
Unless they're able to stage a huge comeback here. That scoreboard's looking pretty weighted on the bottom.
Jo, men du må treffe den.
Ja, men den slo den litt skrått.
Ja.
Og da blir det akkurat
samme is. Samme is.
Det went in. Hakket mer, kanskje. Eller du kan spille sammen med kosten.
Problem for Colleen with removing the guard is it's just a little bit of a tap.
Og retning er egentlig viktigst.
Freeze.
Og hvis den steinen der treffer litt på siden, så kost på den, sånn at den kan henge på det røde.
Norway with a 2-point advantage. One rock to come.
Lots of room for maneuverability here on Doherty's part. If she's a little bit light, she'll act as a guard, force Colleen to make a draw to the center, to the Ford logo in order to score 2. If she touches it even a pinch, she will be shot.
Fight! Someone!
Yeah! Yeah!
Yeah!
Yeah! Yeah!
Final stone for Nordby of Norway. And that will count as the shot stone.
Ja, det kjempebra.
It'll be tough to get out of there, that yellow rock.
Så som en cowboy bortover isen. Jeg knakk sammen i knærne.
Very, very difficult to remove, wouldn't you say?
There is the double across the top.
Yeah.
But it's a risk.
Oh, yes, it will. Very far. Just hit this on the high side.
Yeah,
there to there.
Right.
And just hope.
Catch about half the back
Yeah.
one, eh? The more of the back one, the better. Like the thinner, then you're gonna get this one too. But if you catch half the back, it'll go over that top, eh? I don't even get this one.
For 2?
Now, which way do I want to come
or
on
3?
it? I think I can throw the out turn.
Yep, I do too.
Let's try it. You gotta throw it hard though. And more ice. Hard, more ice. I think we have to hit a quarter of it, but I don't know how tight they are.
Norway lying 1, Colleen Jones, 1 rock to come.
Yeah.
In 6.
High side and hope it doesn't clip that red one.
Okay. What do we have to hit? Half? I don't know how far apart they are. Whatever.
No, it's a little more than half.
It is, in fact, a little bit more than half. 3/4 makes it all day long. Big, big shot.
The final stone, 6th end. Colleen Jones facing huge trouble here.
No.
Trailing 4-2.
No.
And she'll leave Norway
One yellow? Yeah.
with a steal of 1. Tough shot to make.
I thought that would have moved on.
But all of a sudden, heading to 7. Doherty Nordby has the lead on Canada's Colleen Jones by 3. It's 5-2. The Civic Center, Bismarck, North Dakota, home of the 2002 Ford Worlds. This is day 2. Canada's Colleen in a little bit of trouble here against Norway at 5-2, playing 7.
Colleen has had chances this game. There is no question about that. Difference has been they have not been able to execute when they've had the chances for multiple points. And Doherty has taken everything away when Colleen's team has let her off the hook.
Norway has stolen 2, and that's part of the 5-2 advantage.
Må køle her litt.
Hva sa du?
Køle. Må helst køle litt. Nå kommer den. Og er den helt nedpå? Sånn, det er bra, Camilla.
Sports Center with Corey Warren comes your way at the usual time, 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific. Going down to the wire, the National Hockey League, all games are important.
Indeed.
Raptors are still winning. That's interesting, too. That's 7 in a row for the Raptors. Kath, we wrote them off.
You wrote
3
them
weeks
off.
ago. And I'm saying just about everyone who was talking about it in Raptorland. However, they are back and alive. So everyone's swallowing their words. Anyway, that's only part of the story. The rest of it will come your way with Corey Warren.
And the Blue Jay season is upon us. That is a good thing.
Meaning spring. Can't be far away.
You betcha. And how about the weather here yesterday? It has been spectacular in Bismarck.
Yes, but yeah.
Sticks it to line 2.
Canada opened with a pair of wins on opening day.
At least that
Doherty
got out
Nordby
of the way a bit, eh?
had a win and a loss. So if Nordby hangs on to this advantage and wins, that would put these two teams tied in the standings. Scotland has already moved to the top of the heap with a victory over Denmark earlier. That game just finished on sheet C, so Scotland is at 3-0.
We talked a little bit about the playoff system, the sudden death of 1 playing 4, 2 playing 3. And the reality is you got to force yourself to get up there in that top 4. And once you do, whether you're 1st or 4th, if you're 4th and you beat 1st only once this week and it's in the semifinal, it just doesn't matter what happened before that.
Yeah.
Marianne continues to struggle a little bit with that draw weight, elusive to her today.
This is Norway's Marianne Haslam.
Fin redning. Yes, fuck off. Yes. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Nordby out to help her brushers. Can they get it around this guard? Well, not cleanly.
66.
What?
You called this, John. You said not much longer till handshakes.
We were about 7 minutes away, I think. That was suggested. 11-2 is the final, so USA gets its first win.
Convincingly.
Very much so, by 9.
Top 8. Got some room. Top 12. Room.
Marianne trying to use those 2 guards up front. The 2 stones in the house that belong to Norway are only in the 12-foot.
Not moving, that's
Not
so
hard
weird.
to outdraw.
Can we go?
Go now.
Yeah, go.
Go now.
Hurry.
Good weight, just a little bit of trouble with the line.
Okay, nice straight, Marianne.
That'll remain very visible. Over on sheet A, Russia leading Germany 5-3. They're in the 7th end there. Russia throwing yellow rocks. Germany with the final stone here. Natalie Nessler.
And it looked at that really quick glance that they were, or she is facing 3 on this last draw.
So an important stone here on sheet A. Germany tries to cut Russia out of a couple. Enough of the 4. So a point. And it's 5-4. Russia still in the lead, and now with the hammer as they play 8 over there. More problems for Colleen. Colleen Jones looking at 3 Norway stones.
And she will continue to ignore those with a 3-point deficit and last rock. Needs to score at least 2 here. And all she needs is 1 half shot or 1 tick guard by the Norway team, and she'll get that. And that's why she's asking Kim just to draw around those guards.
Back 8. Your path here was quicker than over there. Oh, baby. Like I had a 61 on your second one, and it was tilty.
Oopsie.
They can't afford too many more of those
I got a 40 on
oopsies.
that one. So.
No, particularly when you're down. If you're going to do an oopsie, you want to be high. You want to be a little bit short. You want to be something you can tap. If they're at the front of the house, they can always be moved by the other team back. If they're at the back, they've got nowhere to go but out.
Norway with a 3-point lead.
Ja, litt inne. Ja. Forkant. Kom igjen. Ja. Kom igjen. Kom igjen. Han er ute. Den er fin. Kom igjen. Sånn du da.
Trying to get this around this guard and in. You can see she had great line, just not enough weight.
Got it around, a little shy of the circles. Switzerland with the 8-4 advantage on Korea now.
Hit and roll behind.
You like this best?
Yeah.
Manuela Carlin
Yep.
of Switzerland at 1-1. The Koreans have yet to win, and they're in trouble over on their sheet.
Choosing the hit and roll here, that hole to draw in is getting less, and if they can get a great hit and roll, Colleen thinks that maybe that's the best way to get in there now.
We're on the other one.
Ooh, the wheels have fallen off for Canada.
Den er litt kul, den. Stenge innsiden av den. Ja. Er du med på det? Ja. Ikke akkurat den. Det er hennes eneste sjanse å slå rulle der.
Not vintage Kim Kelly. Watch the hand motion on this stone. Normally very, very clean. Flips it over a little bit, and on that wing side towards the wings, as we said in reading the ice, the rocks curl all day long. And as a result,
they can't bring it back.
How much she's missed this rock by. Jeepers creepers, not a good end.
There have been a couple of ends that Canada would rather forget. Steele in the first began this problem.
Ja, men da kan hun dra hit, det må hun få lov til. Det er lettere for henne å slå rullen og dra perfekt bak her. Jeg kan jo få til en ganske fin.
And Dorothy Nordby has played very well on the day before her 38th birthday.
Denne veien?
Ja. Those are her options.
Ja. Det spiller ikke noen rolle. Nei, det spiller ingen rolle. Hvis vi hadde gjort den perfekte armen.
Which one do you like? Coming around or promoting one of the yellow stones?
Right there. Because if you put it there, you take away this stone, she can't hit it, and you take away the port.
Nei, det var ikke det. Shotten ligger jo langt ut på 8 fot, jo.
Skips rocks to come.
Jeg får ikke stengt alle mulighetene hennes. Og det å slå og rulle, den er...
Den kommer hun til å gå for, det er jeg med på.
Ja, det tror jeg også.
Ja, det gjør hun.
Men jeg kan godt køle bittelite grann over. Da, du kan jo dra ganske nære, da. Ja. Ja.
kunne ha gått den andre veien. Men...
So the half-half is the call here. Half protecting that hole that would stop Colleen from drawing in, and half protecting the stone in the house and the 8-foot currently that is shot stone.
First rock for Dordy Nordby. Looking to cut off any Canadian opportunity to get it into the 4. That'll play well. 2 stones to come from Colleen Jones.
Ja, for det ligger noe under den, Dordy. Bare pass på det etterpå. Det var noe lodott som kom under.
Bedre kunne det ikke bli.
Det kjempebra, Dordy. Den kjempefin.
Den plukka, da.
Ja, jeg så den akkurat I den. Men ikke sant, nå har hun en bitteliten lut.
Oh, got a big port to draw through there. Still 3.5.
Tiny hole. All she's got. It's a tough shot because it's not only a question of having perfect weight, it's a question of when the front end, or in this case, the actual third Kim Kelly and the second Marianne Way can start to sweep because of line.
Weight's good. Careful. We can square. Yep. Yeah, you gotta go. Hard.
First rock for Colleen Jones here in 7. Just about got it through. It may work out, however, after kissing off 2 yellow stones and then a third. It wasn't planned, but the result isn't bad because the port is still narrow for Nordby. You're just shaking your head.
I'm nodding. With that weight.
Oh, nodding.
Yeah, you had tight ice.
No, not compared to Kim.
No?
No. Not to Emma Marianne's.
But I mean, that you had
absolutely
back
yes,
8,
absolutely
you know, weight. Yeah. Anyway, I could have let it clump a little more. Get further over there.
You can see where that rock landed. There is still a little bit of space for Dordy to get through. It is tough because she needs to make sure she hits all she can see. Otherwise, it's going to redirect onto her own. And that is the greatness and the challenges and the frustrations of curling, is that whatever happens, happens, and you don't always have to call what happens. Thank you, Dr. Goche.
It's always nice when you do call your shot. However, take what you can get, and particularly for this Canadian team today, take it. And hope that Nordby misses this. However, she does not.
So for Colleen, a chance to go to school, taking a little bit more ice on this one.
At
least we got a bigger hole.
You can see it's easier to make these shots with more weight rather than less, but you also saw, as that rock went through the hole, that there's not a hill of a room in there.
Okay. Not a lot off it, though, Skipper.
Right on.
Still would have been good.
Nordby, nice shots. No doubt about that.
More? Yeah.
And multiple points. Virtually impossible for Colleen Jones here, trailing by 3, playing 7.
This is about line and weight yet again.
Little less.
Will attempt to throw a little less weight.
Final stone here in 7 for Canada's Colleen Jones.
If you can get off it for a minute, that'd be great.
Hurry! No, we can't.
Hurry, 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 quick!
No, we're not going to.
Quick!
Get it by the yellows.
Oh, what great brushing from Marianne and
The
Kim.
sweepers got it there, right to the 4. So Jones forced to settle for a single. It is 1 red. And the ladies up front did a masterful job, Kathy.
They did. It's not only about pounding this as hard as you can, it's about the judgment to decide. When Nancy said, can you get off? They said, absolutely not.
Right to the 4. Pretty shot for Colleen Jones to narrow the gap a little bit, but she's still in a big struggle against Norway on sheet B this morning. Welcome back. It's the 2002 Ford World Curling Championships. I'm John Wells along with Kathy Gauthier here for the morning drop later today. Ray and Vic and Linda. The final 2 draws here on day 2 at the Worlds.
A day when the women see action twice, the men only play once, and the reverse will happen tomorrow when we'll have Randy Ferbey and his team in the morning, and they will play again at night. Goes back and forth.
Plays Japan on the men's draw this afternoon after a tough loss yesterday, 5-4 to Sweden. Canada stands at 1-1, leading the pack. Denmark, Scotland, and the United States all perfect after the first 2 draws yesterday.
Tight and short's not bad. Yeah, short's not bad.
And leading the parade in women's competition, Scotland perfect at 3-0 after a win this morning. Canada's Colleen Jones coming into this drop with 2 wins, but in trouble against Norway here, trailing 5-3. Here are the numbers for Nokia.
Well, some great numbers for Nancy Delahunt. These are numbers that we are so used to seeing at Scott Timmerman of Hearts play. Not horrible numbers for Camilla. Her draws certainly not as strong as her hitting game. 73% as a lead is a little bit low, but when you're shooting against someone like Nancy Delahunt, you need to play a vintage game if you're going to be in the game. Nancy has set things up pretty well. Nice shot.
Norway with 2 in the rings. Canada with a center line guard in front, right on the line. And here's Marianne Way.
So for Colleen, what she's asking Marianne to do is to play the hit and roll. What you'll see is if the play is behind the tee line, Colleen will play the draws, play the freezes. But when the rocks are in front, she wants to hit and roll. She wants to keep some other rocks in play, but also does not want to give up another 2 in this all-important 8th end. Doherty, of course, would love to take another 2 and spread that gap to 4 points going into 9.
Looking for a little roll. And they'll tuck it in behind it. Very nice shots.
And here's the numbers that I knew that we would see. It has been a tough outing this morning for Marianne, particularly. Look at the draws, 44%.
I don't mind if you come down to this
being
one,
outshot considerably by Marianne Haslum.
It'll bend up a bit,
Not
I think.
vintage Marianne
It's going
Way.
to the back, right?
But we have seen her struggle pretty much the whole game with draw weight.
Canada trailing by 2, 5-3. Norway has the lead.
Okay, gotta go.
Canada with the hammer here in 8.
That great roll by the Norwegian means that the Canadians need to get around that top yellow one, freeze down to the back one.
Hurry. We got it, Kim.
They'll sneak it by.
We talked about her draw percentage. That's a huge shot for Marianne.
So
easy for them to pick it up.
I know.
An update from sheet A. It's Natalie Nessler of Germany against Olga Jarkova of Russia.
Go to the back one, will be shot.
Russia has scored big ends a couple of times, and there's 3 more for an 8-4 advantage. For the Russians, 2 in the second and 3 in 6. Add 3 more there. And that must feel pretty comfortable playing 9. Norway responds to a nice shot by Marianne Way. And so 2 Norwegian rocks are there.
Colleen will continue to play this shot.
Oh, okay, I should have that weight, girls. That's lots, I think.
It's there.
Lots of line.
On its own. Back line. No.
Whereas Marianne has struggled with draw weight and been short most of the day, Kim, if she's going to be struggling with her draw, it has been deep.
No bounce.
Anywhere in front of the stone is really good.
This may be a little hot, too. Well,
nice shot, Kim.
He'll put it right back there, and that's
We should have been playing that with
not
yours,
bad at
Marianne.
all, obviously.
I didn't have any idea we could be shot.
Here are the numbers for the thirds thus far.
Find them a little bit low for Hannah. She's made some really nice shots. For Kim, some decent numbers. It's been the draw, that all-elusive draw. This entire Canadian team, with the exception of Nancy, struggling a little bit to find exactly what it is. Advantage to the Canadian team, but it has been the timing of those draws that has really put Colleen a little bit in some difficulty in some of the ends.
Bare fart! Bare fart!
God plass, god plass. God plass.
Doherty Nordby, 1-1 coming into this game, playing very well. And so are her teammates on the morning draw today. And that'll be the shot stone for Norway, biting the 4. Big smile. Hannah Woods.
var litt streng bak her nå. Bare fart!
Kjempefin.
Is that a little more?
I think I'm going to take up Norwegian.
A little more.
I can't stand not knowing what they're saying.
Very difficult for you, wouldn't it be? Not being in on all the little secrets.
Man.
Coming, no, it's coming.
Trying to park this stone right on top of the yellow one at the back of the 4-foot.
And tapping the yellow back. Canada has the shot rock and the hammer here in 8.
If you read lips, Kim just said too heavy, and the reason it was too heavy is that it had that little bounce. You can see that that rock went to the outside. If she throws about 1.5 feet less or 2 feet less of weight, it's A, not going to bounce, and B, it's going to curl a little bit more and be frozen.
Den blir torrere, er den ikke det?
Den er bitte litt hardere.
Bakkant!
Bakkant!
Norway's third, Hannah Woods.
Ikke rør den, ikke rør den. Ikke rør den, ikke rør den. Pass på, ikke rør den. Ikke rør den.
Following the same path. A little roll here. And behind cover.
Er så bra.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Big problem.
Yeah, she's
Well,
right
for
there.
Colleen, first of all, we'll take a look at that great shot. That's why Kim was saying too heavy. By her going into the open, it gave Hannah the shot. It is a great shot by Hannah, but it was still made possible by that extra weight. And so for Colleen, high fives.
How do you say high five in Norwegian?
They didn't say anything.
They were silent.
You can see what Colleen has, which isn't a whole lot from the other end. She's got to get down here and park herself on the Ford logo.
Have you changed rock colors on me here? No.
No, but I thought that Colleen would probably, although she'd like to switch sides at this point,
Line lots
throw
of room,
red.
guys. Only if you have to. Hurry.
Colleen with the hammer here in 8.
Hurry, hurry.
I shouldn't say that. Norway has the hammer at 8 after Jones picked up one. So this is her first rock.
Whoa.
Nice shot.
Nice shot.
That'll be the shot stone for the moment.
God, I didn't know if it was going to die in the house or what.
Lovely, lovely shot.
Thanks.
Canada scoring 1 in 7. So Nordby will have the last rock advantage here.
Very nice shot by Colleen. You see that that long guard is a factor.
Går det å treffe Tintin på yttersiden og sånn ut den veien?
Spiller samme som deg. Hvem har shotten? Det har de.
Jeg tror de er shotten.
Ja, jeg spiller samme fart som deg, da. Det er jo mulig å komme på innsiden av den.
Doherty wondering if they can get to the inside. Can they get to the
Ja, du
inside?
ser nesten. Ja, det går det, altså.
Hannah in front of the
Spiller
house.
bakkant, da.
They believe that they can get to the inside just to tap it out of the 4-foot.
Hvis vi spiller bakkant, Marianne. Ja.
Bakkant.
Hva gjør vi?
It's a huge shot for Doherty because of the way the stones are. What they want to do is they think they can get just to the inside to tap it back. The rock's probably not going further than that. If she's a little heavy, that's where it's going.
Norway with the hammer in 8. And the 2-point advantage. Doherty Nordby's first.
Kom igjen.
Helsike!
Hei, rolig. Nei, bakkant.
Han køler masse.
Bakkant.
Det er 10. Ja, litt bak.
Bakkant.
What have they got here? A bit of a problem.
Det er greit, den gule ligger i hvert fall mot den røde. Ja, sorry.
What is she leaving Colleen Jones?
Of course, her other option is to bounce off of that one and roll another one in.
Sorry, what was that?
Bounce. We could either guard or do this, just there to there. You know, withdraw weight.
I do like it. You know what? It's probably.
Do you like the guard?
Either or, whatever you like. I don't know if Doherty's got anything off that yellow though.
She does if she gets that. Has that corner exposed.
One at a time.
Yeah, you know what? I think so too, because I think if you do
Yeah,
the Colleen,
because
you can just pick the back one and give us one anyway.
Yeah, well.
The one behind it.
Yeah.
In order to move that, you'd have to come to both.
I think the problem is we'd give her the one. She'd just come down to this, so.
Right. Guard.
I think a guard's all we need right now. Although, you know what? You might not get another chance for 2. I mean, if you might as well take it like this.
Well, listen to the options, but the guard, the protecting the stone.
I think just a guard, because by playing the in-off withdrawal weight, we're leaving our back one open for her to get one. And I'd rather, you know, I'd rather steal one.
Here's what the options the team's
Now,
talking
if she
about.
guard,
The
that's
in-off right there.
Just tap it.
There's lots of ice
And
for it,
hope.
though.
Yeah, it looks good though. It should
Or
finish
guard.
up at the end, just so we're straddling the line, I guess, eh?
Yeah, yeah.
And
just
take
get to
the
that
one.
black line. Yeah, a little over.
I mean, a guard makes it very difficult for Nordby, doesn't it?
It does.
I mean,
it does.
So here's Colleen's final stone.
No, we're
In
okay.
the 8th.
Halfway.
Just here.
Just clean.
Over curl.
Might need a little help, you guys.
I think it might. We're good. We're halfway by itself, if not a little more.
Well,
yeah, a little. Yeah.
No, just clean.
Yeah. You got to cover this
over
corner.
curl.
Whoa.
Yeah.
We're good. Whoa. Whoa.
Canada looking to protect the counter. Almost on the logo.
Nice shot.
And that's pretty nice. Jones
What?
at 66.
Oh, she doesn't have a corner.
Nordby at 86.
Not much of one that she could throw.
I just cut that out for you folks. That is Colleen's strength. And so today, in a game that they've been down a couple of points, you would expect to see something like that. It's just eluding her. Huge numbers for Doherty, and these have been some really, really tough draws. Those are not freebies. She's working hard for those, and that, ironically enough, is 23% or better than either of her performances in the first 2 games. If you don't think teams rise to play the Canadians, you are dreaming in Technicolor.
This has been the turnaround game for Doherty Nordby. 1-1 coming in. Canada's Colleen Jones unbeaten after 2 wins yesterday. So if Norway hangs on for victory, there would be a 3-way tie for second spot behind Scotland. Denmark losing to Scotland earlier, and that moves Denmark to 2-1.
Colleen does not leave Doherty much. We talked about the tough draws that she's had to make. This one is right to the lid. From the hack, it's not a lot that she can see, but she doesn't have a lot of room to play with because Colleen's rock that she protected is right on the lid.
Final stone here in 8.
Yeah. Yeah. Yan.
Doherty Nordby.
Yan. Hot.
Pressure's on it all the way.
I got it good.
And can she tap that yellow? Not far enough.
Yeah.
That was plan B.
Okay.
So Canada gets a little bit closer. A steal of 1 for Colleen and company. 5-4 as we head to 9.
A lot of hard sweeping.
Welcome back, and this means that spring is here. The Masters on TSN beginning Thursday, 2 o'clock Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Pacific. Kathy and I like Phil Mickelson big time in this.
Big time. It would be wonderful to see him walk away with a green jacket.
Wouldn't it be?
Yeah.
Really would.
It's
I mean, I really like the personality in the player, but obviously a starry field, and it won't be easy at Augusta. Maybe not easy for Colleen to come back against Norway here, down 5-4 without playing 9.
Mission accomplished, though, for the Canadian girls' last end, which was to steal a point. Now she can play it a little bit more defensively. The goal here is to either steal one or force Doherty to take a point. Colleen wants last rock, or at least a tie game coming home.
Hurry up! Big line issues. Whoa. What happened to that? Must have been a, yeah.
Did it pick something
That's all
up?
right, though. Yeah, good.
The result is not horrible.
Have rocks out front. Unless they get a big one bumped to the button or something.
Building a fortress out front.
Here's a great example of one of the differences of the 4-guard zone. Doherty doesn't like all those rocks out front, and with the world rules, she can remove her own stone. And that is the call that she's making. It's not about not removing any stones, it's just your opponent's.
Ja. Det bra. Bra, Camilla.
That was a board weight peel.
Over on sheet D, 9th end. Not close. Switzerland leading Korea 8-5. And looking to add to it here. Swiss have really been in control all morning long. Korea in more difficulty here. Switzerland skipped by Manuela Corman, who lost to Colleen Jones yesterday.
Wait. Good, T-line. Yep. Back.
And it will be
there
good.
You go.
For 2.
Not back, it's T.
What we're watching, our feature game this morning, is really the only game that's been close all the way on the 5 sheets here this morning.
Good shot, Marianne.
Again, just a point separating Norway
Stuff, eh?
and Canada.
It's a good shot.
In a really interesting game. Has not been either team, not Colleen's style, which is wide open, not Doherty's, which is often kamikaze. It's been somewhere in between, but we've been treated to some great shot making by both of these teams. Doherty again electing to peel that guard off, open it up.
And the biggest lead of the morning, 2 points by Norway. Canada has narrowed that to a 1-point advantage for the Norwegians at 5-4, playing 9.
Halfway to tight. Halfway only.
Colin.
Yeah, a little. Whoa.
Just trying to throw a guard on the stone that's in the house belonging to Canada.
Whoa, baby. Good
About
shot.
ignoring guarding that one and come around this one.
That's the way you stick too, yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
just
kinda
think
like
that.
the 2 corners from the
Yeah.
sides of it, yeah.
But at what point do we want to start risking?
Wow.
Leaving that one there.
Look at the rocks in front of the house.
That's an interesting configuration on sheet A, isn't it? They're in the 9th end, Russia with the 8-4 advantage on Germany. Final stone coming from the German skip, Natalie Nessler. On our sheets,
Colleen
it's Kim
trying
Kelly's turn, sorry.
to replace, no, Colleen just trying to replace that guard removed by the Norwegians.
Final stone, Germany on sheet A. As Kim Kelly comes out on the top of your screen, facing a couple of yellows there. And we'll count 1 red.
Great try on that double. She hits that just a little bit thinner, and it would have been for 4.
There you go, 8-5 there.
Whoa,
And we're back in time
Nice shot. You're right.
for Kim Kelly's stone to finish. Guard is replaced.
No, it's not. No.
As requested.
You know what? I think one's awful good. They keep playing this, you might get it.
And Doherty once again will try to remove that stone from play.
This is Hannah Woods, her longtime third.
Yeah.
Woods and Nordby, to 4 Olympics together and 13 World Championships. Didn't run it back on the other red stone, so Canada still sitting 1 without the hammer, playing 9.
You guys like here?
Well, you have
So there's
to
still
take
hope.
it now if you're going to get 2.
Oh, sure. We're
Absolutely.
in a one-point game.
1-point game.
It's like the double, you know, the 2 behind the corner thing.
We might not.
The way
get
Nordby was
Colleen.
playing
Like here,
at
or we got-
5-3 until Jones got one in the last end, it was
Yeah, we
looking
talked about all of that.
like a
You had to stick
fairly
to the
difficult task to come back
Steve,
against a
I
veteran
agree, I
team, a
think
2-time
tie
World
game is
Championship team. But definitely here, even without the hammer. There's a chance, and here's Kim Kelly's second stone in 9.
Oh, that's too much.
It's tighter.
No, don't tell me that.
Just going to clean up here somewhere.
Is it freezing, guys?
No.
Please?
Whoa, baby. Whoa,
Is this too
baby.
much heat?
That's good, Kim.
No. There you go. Little concern about that stone when we listened in, because Kim had been
Oh
a
my
little
God,
heavy-handed a
there's
time or
heart
two
attack.
today.
Said she was a little closer. What was happening is as it got closer to the house, she was losing line because the rock was curling.
That's my half.
But still
guard weight was
protects
sinking
that rock
relative
and
when you're
forces
draw
Nordby to
weight.
continue to try to remove that.
Shooter is gone. Another red stone remains out front.
And that makes things a little bit easier for Colleen. The look from overhead will show you that not only is the rock in the forefoot, but the way the stones are positioned on the left-hand side of the sheet, the long guard and the tight guard, means that one of the things that Colleen can look at doing, that far right-hand rock, that's the rock just moved over by the Norwegian team, is something that later on she can look at tapping or raising to get an additional stone in the house.
Just clean.
Colleen Jones, her first stone
Just clean, guys.
here in 9.
Where is it?
Canada lying
Yeah,
1,
well, it's going to overcurl a bit.
Uh-oh.
trailing
Just
by 1.
clean.
Stop curling.
Whoa.
Whoa. Stop curling.
Sit. Okay.
How much can she? Oh my God, she's got half of it. Okay.
She's got a titch, not much.
Just a titch?
Yeah. My new curls there.
She pointed to half, but.
And so a combination of that rock curling a little bit more than Colleen wanted and being really long gives Doherty a chance to finally get to that stone that's in the back of the forefoot. And that's the play.
How much can she see? A titch?
There's dissenting opinions. Doherty showed us half of the rock, and Colleen believes the titch.
Well, and when you're looking at this game this morning and down by 1,
Skal du ha
playing
mer
9,
is,
you
eller?
have to be the optimist, so a
Jeg ser
titch
ikke noe av den bak. Du ser ikke noe av?
is what Jones believes.
And I think that Doherty's going with the titch theory. She's in the hack and
Det køler fint inn her.
not as much as she probably thought she could see.
A titch in Norwegian must be something similar when they use that word.
Ja. Jeg kunne få... Ja. Ja. Nei.
First of 2 for Nordby here in 9. She found a path. She clears the Canadian stone, and the house is empty again.
Det bra dere ropte.
Det passerte med så mye.
Ja, jeg hørte ikke alltid, men ropte flere ganger. Bra.
Det passerte med så mye, vet du.
Ja, jeg vet det.
Looks like so much ice to me.
Final stone to come for Colleen Jones.
That upturn bump looks real nice too, doesn't it?
Actually, that does look very nice.
Because then you don't have to worry about...
It's the rock that I spoke about earlier
Yeah.
on the outside
Yeah, I
of the
do like
sheet,
that
the one
upturn
that's
bump.
really tight to the house.
Okay.
Just tap it in.
Yeah, because if you go straight back or that way, you're golden.
That looks really nice.
Yeah. Hard to know what the weight is out here, though, to throw. She needs my weight.
We threw a lot of draws down here.
Colleen sets her mark.
Well, just about. Yes, so it should be.
I like it. I like it a lot. And this is the reason why moving that stone over by Norway gave Canada a huge advantage. You might be thinking about playing the draw. This is a tough spot. Sometimes it moves, sometimes it doesn't. With this, you tap it straight, it's good. You tap it here, well, maybe not quite that far, is really good. You've got protection from the guards out front, and that's the stone that they're going to play.
I think 3 sounds good. Yeah.
Either way, the mission will be accomplished. By Colleen tapping this stone, it's not going to be wide open. Doherty will either have to take one, giving Colleen last rock coming home, or Canada may steal another point and tie this game.
Final stone for Colleen Jones in 9, down by 1 at 5-4, trying to promote this red stone right there. Little tap. And pretty nice. Pretty nice indeed, biting the 4.
Good one.
Maybe a little deeper than she would
Guess we could have left just
have
a bit,
really
think you were heavy.
I like it there.
Yeah.
hoped for.
That's a great
shot. The thing is, you have to make sure it doesn't catch.
Depends on who you listen to.
And if you do, then you're in the open.
Right, Kath?
We wanted to at least make a draw 4.
Yeah, well, you want to
But you'd like it in front of the tee, wouldn't you? So one more complete. Switzerland with a 12-5 victory over Korea. So 3 sheets are empty.
Needs full 4 foot to score a point. And you're right, John, just listening to Colleen for a second, which is why I didn't respond to you, but when they played the tap up, if that rock is maybe about a foot less weight, she's in front of the tee line, she's full 4, makes the draw a little bit harder, but still, Doherty needs the full 4.
And here's the final stone for Norway in 9. In a 1-point game. As Nordby got her single. One yellow. So it's a 2-point lead for Norway coming home. Colleen Jones will have the hammer, but she needs 2 to get back to even with this 2-time world champion.
The 2002 Ford World Curling Championships on TSN are brought to you in part by Husky and Mohawk, leaders in fuel, food, and convenience. By JVC, excite your senses. And by Whirlpool Home Appliances, proudly supporting extraordinary Canadian women athletes and everyday champions across the country.
The handshakes on sheet A. Russia convincing in a 9-4 victory over Germany. So everything is done except the game we're watching this morning. Canada versus Norway. Colleen Jones down by 2. Coming home at 6-4 for Doherty Nordby of Norway.
And on the first one, Doherty elected to throw it right through. Canada throws the guard, the tick shot, moved it over.
And you think an extra end is in the offing here?
I don't think that there's any question that when you play the 3-guard zone with last rock, there's a good chance to score 2, and we're playing the 4-guard zone, which would suggest that your odds are just as good.
It's more.
If not better. Colleen has that 1 guard up already. It's all she needs to score 2 points.
And Jones has the hammer.
Anywhere, yeah. Easy. Good, good, good.
Nice one, Nance.
So 2 Canadian guards sitting there.
Her work is done. Nice pair by Nancy.
Ja. Det curler litt mindre.
placement of those stones are nice and flat, which means that there are no double opportunities.
Ja, ta den gula. Kom igen. Kom igen. Kom igen. Kom igen.
Det är bra, Marianne.
Det är bra, Marianne.
Didn't roll right out, but almost as good as. And so for Colleen and her team, will continue to split the house with the guards.
That looks lovely.
Marianne Way. Colleen second.
Going so far over.
Okay. Good.
Yep. Good
Running a
Marianne.
little bit out of paint on that one, starting to curl
That's
a
good.
little bit too much, which is why they stopped sweeping.
Interesting to see if this frosts up with everyone gone. Well, it already is, I guess.
Den. Men jo, men er det ikke lettere å dra rundt den? Det er lettere å dra rundt den der. Den. Ja, for du køler mye mer den veien. Det er mye lettere å hente opp her. Ja, OK.
Ja, det er det faktisk.
Decision is that longer guard, the one just thrown by Marianne that over-curled a little bit, is not as much danger as this one that is sitting right on one of the 4-foot lines.
Ja. 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 Oh.
3 rocks in play.
Bra!
Bra, Marianne.
Another Canadian guard removed and the shooter
Det er kjempebra.
to the sidelines.
My husband's joining in. Same as the last one.
Canada's Colleen Jones down by 2 with the hammer coming home. At the Worlds, Jones has never scored 3 in the 10th to win. However, last year against Denmark, she did score 2 in 10 to tie
Even.
before losing
Good.
in an
Good.
extra end.
Whoa. Fine.
So that's what Jones is attempting to do. 2 for the tie, 3 to win outright.
Easy to pick
3's tough for Colleen to score, not because it's difficult, but because the style of play that she usually would play is very conservative, and when you don't have a lot of guards in play, you don't score lots of 3's. Having said that, she currently has 2 guards in front of the house, which is what she needs.
Well, now she has 1.
Norwegian team being very successful at removing those stones from play, and also their shooter.
Bra, Anne.
Hva er det du gjorde for noe nå?
Jeg roper først bra, Marianne, Marianne, Marianne.
And at some point, Colleen needs to make the decision whether it's on Kim's first or second to go in.
Well, we have to go behind one of them now.
Yeah.
There you go.
Decision is now.
I think Colleen is plugged in and listening to your every word.
I wonder if we should go
Catherine?
behind
That
a...
makes
Well, for 3,
one
that's the
of
call.
you.
I like that because even if
Yeah, I think we got to go there
we don't
first.
bury
Okay.
it. We've still got room here, right?
There's confirmation of that from the camera ace down
I don't
there,
mind it
Mr.
behind the tee
Snively,
either.
Yeah, definitely.
that she is listening to you.
Don't tell me that.
No, just in there somewhere. In the paint.
In the paint. Yeah.
Have a choice to go behind either of those corner guards. The reason that Colleen is choosing to go around the short guard, the guard that belongs to Norway, is that they feel
It is?
that,
Yeah,
that
but it's a lot.
in the
Here,
process
make
of
it a
trying
little
to
heavier
get
over
to
here.
it, if they're
All the way
able
here.
to bury,
Coming down.
because it's closer
Line's
to the house,
fine.
Doherty
Fall
may
down.
just
That's
rub
good.
that
Close,
guard.
yep.
That opens up the chances for 2 or 3.
Hurry!
Can they get it around? Trying to tuck in behind the yellow Norway stone. And it just nudges the rock there and sits very much in the open.
Just rub the backside. Great weight, great brushing, great calling.
Just that much.
Oh, darn
It was great.
At this point, they think that they're going to be able to get it by. You can watch them working really hard. Here, it looks like she's got lots, but just at the end,
So sad.
catches the back half.
Sunk.
Jeg er 13.
Ren. Nå har du det. Ren.
Jeg er 12,5, 12 den her.
Og så pusser vi litt.
Det er bra. Sitt da. Det er kjempebra, Anne.
Norwegian stone on the
Den ble
button.
kul. Den ble kul.
Det er bra.
Freeze.
Go here, eh?
Den ble kul.
That's true. Same weight? No, less.
That came down a bit, Kim.
Second stone for Kim Kelly.
So similar.
Slower kick. Looks like a lot.
Make sure I'm there, guys.
That looks like a lot.
It's a lot less than the last one.
Got
High
all
if you
kinds of
can.
room here. Okay.
It's not curling at all.
No.
Can we go?
Bring it now.
No, well,
Bring it.
okay.
Bring it. Yeah.
See how much room she's got by that long guard.
Just a bite. Whoa,
There's
whoa,
the
whoa.
curl now.
Oh, hurry.
Not completely covered.
Oh, boy, that first
It was just starting to bend, but we needed to get it earlier.
Frustration for Kim?
Well, and her first rock at the end was oh so close to being wonderful. The second one a little less than perfect.
Spiller litt fart på den nå, for det kører så mye der.
So for Doherty, she can see enough of that stone, does not want to stick around anyways, be happy just to hit and roll out.
Bare ta den med en gang.
Nei. Vegg. Nei, trett den!
Aldri!
Vegg. Køl, vegg.
Aldri!
Ren. Skru da. Vegg.
Nei.
Over til den andre gula.
Helt ut på.
Helt ut. Det er for sent. Det er bra. Bra.
So Norway with two in the house, one on the button.
Og så bang, au.
And for Colleen, there's no decision. She needs
You know what?
2
That
points
rock was over
to
further
tie,
than we
and
had
she
been
needs to
playing
be
there
on top
before.
of that yellow stone that's in the 4-foot. If she's not shot, it's not the end of the world, but she needs to be right on top of it to force Doherty to make a whack at it,
Make it perfect
and maybe
anyhow,
get
but
rid of
I
her
think
own in
I
the
need a
process
little,
of doing so.
Bump. I have to get shot.
So down to
otherwise I
Skip's
think for
rocks.
sure she'll guard it.
Yeah.
Great.
First of two for Jones. Norway will have the hammer with a 2-point lead coming home in 10.
And we're late.
Hard, every bit. As far as you can. This isn't bad.
Let's go.
It doesn't matter. Get it in.
Well, it's like
As long as it's in.
Oh, guys.
Not in?
No.
No. Split was fine?
No, a little short. It was a little slow.
I don't think I've got anything, do I?
No, but I think
What?
we could have that in rings. You know, just a biter, and she's got to try to peel it out. You know, these two are bit troublesome, I think.
You can see the decision for Doherty. The double is there off the yellow ones, and that's why Nancy is saying to Colleen that it was so important that Kim and Marianne touch the stone into the house. And you can see that even if Colleen made the perfect double, that rock is not in the house.
Feel free to shake if you
Det er
want
ikke
to.
der køller i bøtta. Ja, men skal bare ikke slå inn den, ja.
I don't want to say that picked, but yet I saw a black thing on the ice, and it just felt like fine
But
weight out
you
of
know
my
what?
hand.
It certainly took a curl.
Yeah.
Like I was going, line's great, and then it went up over the
Yeah.
side. I was surprised to see it take the path it did.
Yeah,
for sure. You were well on that side.
Colleen Jones down by 2. Norway's the final stone here. Jones has 1 to come.
Bare fart. 10. Forkant 10.
Bare hold rent, jenter, sånn at den ikke skjærer.
Canada needs a couple
Den er 10 bakom nesten.
to tie and force the extra end.
Ja.
Det er bra, det.
Det er bra.
So 3 Norwegian stones almost in a row, and that will be it.
Good game. Nice game. Have a good week.
No chance to get even for Canada as Norway picks up 3
Hi, everybody
in
at
10.
home. Everyone at the Donkeys and the Wigginton. Hi, Mom and Dad. Hi, Susie.
And it was Doherty's day in the 2 years that Doherty won in 1990 and 1991. She lost to Canada in both of those round-robin games, and she's turning it around.
These two teams are in a 2-way tie for second at 2-1. Make it a 3-way tie as Russia moves in there at 2-1 as well. Scotland leading the pack after 3 draws in the women's standings. Switzerland also at 2-1 now as we move a little farther down. So Canada loses its first. Doherty Nordby beats Colleen Jones on the morning draw.
The 2002 Ford World Curling Championships on TSN are brought to you by Karcher, quality cleaning equipment, by Nokia, proud sponsor of the Nokia Briar, and by Ford. Ford of Canada supports the love of the sport and the drive to achieve.
So that'll wrap it up this morning. Canada's Colleen Jones coming up a little bit short against the 2-time world champion Doherty Nordby. This afternoon as we continue on the men's page, it'll be Randy Ferbey, a loser last night, trying to get back into the winning column against Japan at 0-2. Canada 1-1 there. Bob McCowan has the business of sports coming up next. Interesting morning, Catherine.
We expected a great game. We saw a great game, and we saw vintage Doherty Nordby and maybe not vintage Colleen Jones.
A little off the game, the Canadian gals were this morning, and Nordby was right on hers to score the victory and move into a tie. Smiles all around on the Norwegians' faces. Oh, and one of those too. This has been a presentation of TSN, Canada's sports leader.